following is a Cable Regina Channel 7 sports presentation.
The Western Hockey League's regular season is coming to an end, and for the Regina Pats, questions abound. The big one being, who will their first-round opponents be in the playoffs? Is there another date with the Red Deer Rebels in the offing? Or are they going to get to know the Moose Jaw Warriors, Saskatoon Blaze, or Lethbridge Hurricanes quite well over the next 10 days? One team they'd like to play in a few weeks' time are the Swift Current Broncos. The Pats can still catch Speedy Creek, but to do that, a win is a must tonight. And wins have been the norm for Perry Shockey's squad lately. They look to make it 9 straight tonight. It could be a preview of the Eastern Conference Final. So walk under a ladder, grab your black cat, and find out who Friday the 13th will be a killer for as the Pats look to bounce the Broncos. And it's next on Channel 7.
Regina Pats Hockey on Cable Regina is sponsored by Inland Audiovisual, 1751 McCarra Street. Western Pizza, now with 10 locations serving you. And SAS Lotteries, benefiting amateur sport in the province.
Hello everybody and welcome to tonight's Regina Pats broadcast here on Cable Regina. Swift Current Broncos and Regina Pats. It's our final telecast of this season, and really, I think we saved the best for last for you folks. The Regina Pats, the hottest team in the league right now. They're riding all the momentum in the world. Mitchell Blair is a man who knows Mo, and he'll be here to talk about that in a few minutes. As well, the Swift Current Broncos, no slouches though. They've still managed to hold on to a 4-point lead on the Pats. This is a huge weekend. Basically, if the Pats lose this game, they can't finish first. If they win this game, they still have to go into Moose Jaw tomorrow night and then come back here against Moose Jaw for the season finale, a game which may decide who they play in the first round of the playoffs, and that very well could be those same Moose Jaw Warriors. Clear? Sure it is. It'll be a lot clearer, though, in about 60 minutes of hockey. We'll tell you all sorts of things, including who killed Kenny, who Cartman's dad is, and who maybe is the top team in the WHL's Eastern Conference this season. The Pats and Swift Current Broncos have split their 5 previous meetings this season, the most recent being a 5-2 Pats victory in Swift Current back on February 25th. That was towards the end of that huge 8-game road trip, and a big time victory, possibly sending a message as to what the Broncos can expect tonight. Here to describe all the action, our fine, oh so fine play-by-play team, Mitchell Blair and Paul Barnby.
Thank you very much, Pete, and good evening, everyone. Paul, you don't get any bigger than this. It's the first place showdown, really. If the Pats are going to finish first, they got to chalk up a W tonight. If the Broncos win, they get first.
Well, you're exactly right, and you wouldn't want it any other way. You know, you come down to the end of the season. We got 3 big hockey games this weekend. This is obviously the biggest one because it's the next one right now. They got to knock off the Swift Current Broncos tonight and then come back with 2 big games against Moose Jaw. We'll see if the Regina Pats can end up in first.
Pats playing some great hockey down the stretch as they approach the finish line. They obviously want to keep that momentum going right through into the playoffs. And although they have back-to-back games against Moose Jaw, who's going to finish 8th, really, as we've talked about many times, it doesn't matter where Regina or Moose Jaw are in the standings. They always have great games, so it is a very important weekend for this hockey club.
Well, no question about it. And, you know, they've gone into Swift Current and beaten them there. They've gone into Brandon and beat Brandon in their barn. Now they got to come home. They've got things set up the way they want. They got the big push here for first place. If they do end up in first place, it's likely going to be that they're going to play the Moose Jaw Warriors. So we're in for a heck of a weekend, no matter which way we look at it. Very big weekend for the Regina Pats. It's all going to start here tonight. They got to come up with the big win.
As we take a look at the standings, there you see the Broncos right now in first place with 97 points. Swift Current has 1 game left. That will be against Brandon tomorrow night. As for the Pats, 3 games left in the season, including tonight's. As Paul mentioned, they will finish it off with a home-and-home against Moose Jaw. Calgary has clinched the Central Division title. They did that last night with a win over Edmonton. And then, so they will finish second. And then from then on, it's just sort of as to where everybody is going to slot in. I'll tell you what, you don't think hockey fever is at its highest here? This place is sold out. It's the hottest ticket in town, and it will probably be that way for quite a while as the Pats head down the playoff road. They'll make their final tune-ups, of course, and get the engine in fine shape for the playoffs, which will begin next week here at the Agridome. Paul, if there is one thing the Pats are going to be missing, at least in the first round of the playoffs, it will be Kyle Calder. Kyle suffered a broken finger the other night in Brandon. He'll be missed.
Oh, he will be missed. There's no question about it. He's an offensive force on that second line and really comes up with some big plays. He's got 27 goals, 50 assists right now for a total of 77 points. You take that out of the lineup, especially on that second line, and you're going to be in a little bit of trouble. So you have to see the other guys pick up the slack now. This is your chance to play. This is your chance to show the coaches that you belong in Kyle Calder's spot.
When you look at the Swift Current Broncos, there are three guys that really stir their drink. The main guy, the Western Hockey League's leading scorer, and the guy who I think might be the Western Hockey League Player of the Year, that's Sergei Varlamov.
Yes, he is obviously one of the main men that you've got to be aware of. Sergei Varlamov on the ice at all times. We saw that thing in the paper the other day where he was voted as the best stick handler, certainly one of the most valuable players, one of the smartest players, and this is all rated by other players on other teams. Comes into the game with 66 goals. You got to be aware of Sergei Varlamov out there tonight.
The goaltenders. At this time of year, the microscope really on the goaltenders. We've got two of the top goaltenders in the league on display here tonight in Terry Friesen and Ryan Hupel. And I want to talk about Ryan Hupel for a second because when he came here, he struggled at the start, and a lot of people were going, man, maybe Ryan Hupel isn't the answer. But I think he has silenced all of his critics.
Yes, he's come up with some tremendous games down the stretch here, and certainly one of the main reasons that the Pats have really been on fire here down this stretch. He's provided that solid goaltending, and you know what you like to have every now and then? Your goaltender make one of those saves that everybody just goes, wow, how did he do that? Ryan Hupel's been providing that for the Pats.
Paul, last night the Agridome was busy in here with the high school basketball championship, so they put the floor down over the ice and that. Is that going to play a part in tonight's game? Is the ice going to be a little choppy, a little soft perhaps, or not?
Well, you'd have to think that it's not going to be as good as it would be had that not happened in here. However, the ice makers have, they've obviously flooded the ice a couple of times here, had a couple scrapes on it, had a warm-up on it, so you would expect that it would start to come around now, and I don't think it'll take away from the game.
Let's go down to Megan Lee Tremblay and the national anthem. Folks, we have saved the best for last, and I think this is going to be a gooder tonight. So relax in that easy chair. I hope you've got the snacks and the beverages right at hand because you don't want to miss any of this. Let's take a look at the Pipe Patrol tonight. That is Terry Friesen. As you see, has a record of 26, 8, and 7. Goals against average of 2.76. 26, 8, and 7, as I mentioned on the season, with one shutout. Guarding the goal for the Regina Pats, Ryan Hupel. 56 games between the pipes, a 2.99 goals against average, 32, 18, and 4 his win-loss record, and a goals against average of 2.99 with 4 shutouts. Our referee for tonight's game, Brad Meyer, the linesman, Jason Mercer, and back from Nagano, Japan in the Winter Olympics, Troy, don't call me Kenneth Sardison.
Well, they're out there, and let's hope that they don't play a role in this particular hockey game. I always like to have the officials, a good officiating crew in a game. Obviously, of this magnitude, this is going to take on the kind of proportions that you see in a 7th game of a 7-game series. The regular season comes down to this contest between these two teams. Two great players out there. We'll see what happens.
We are underway, and with the puck is Brad Stewart. He will quickly fire it into the Broncos zone. Surjak tried to get to it, couldn't do so. Puck comes out where Jared Adams gets it. Over to Stewart. Stewart wanted to get it to Kane. Boyd Kane flirting with 50 goals. He is 5 away with 3 to go. Now coming away for the Broncos, that is Brett Allen. Allen comes to the center ice stripe and dumps it into the Pat zone. Hoople gets his first touch of it. Knocks it along the boards to Boyd Kane. Kane wanted to get up to Holden. Henkelman got to it and chips it into the Pat bench. So we will have our first stoppage with 31 seconds gone in this opening period as you take a look at Regina Pat's coach, Perry Shockey.
Well, and you can see what Perry Shockey wants to get going in this matchup here as he has Josh Holden out there against Sergei Varlamov. Obviously wants to get that matchup as he feels that's the player that he wants, obviously, around Sergei Varlamov tonight. Make sure you can neutralize him, and Josh Holden certainly capable of doing that and also provides a lot of offensive thrust himself. A little pushing and shoving after that whistle. Mitchell?
Paul, you see the button that Perry Shockey has on his lapel. It's a pin to signify Doug Wickenheiser, and of course the battle he is going through with cancer. And they are playing a very special game tomorrow in Doug Wickenheiser's honor in St. Louis. Doug, of course, very sick with cancer. A great story in today's Globe and Mail by Al Mackey about Doug Wickenheiser. Hopefully you'll get a chance to see it. If you haven't picked up a Globe and Mail today, I recommend you do so. Puck comes out to center ice now, and that's Roosevelt, who quickly passed it to his winger, but the Broncos were trapped offside, and Michael Roosevelt appears to be wounded a little bit as he took a hard hit from one of the Pats.
Yeah, Clint Kavanaugh coming up from his blue line position. Roosevelt's a real rushing defenseman and likes to jump into that play. If there's 3 players that you better pay attention to on the Swift Current Broncos, one is their goaltender Friesen. We've already talked about Sergei Varlamov. The third is Michael Roosevelt, and he goes off. Looks like he's got a little bit of a limp there, taking a look at his knee on the bench, so not a good sign for the Swift Current Broncos.
We'll have to see just how long Mr. Roosevelt is on the bench for. Off the face-off, Lawrence Nicolat got it and tried to dump it in, but some of his teammates were a little bit too eager, and we'll have another face-off just outside the Regina line. Lysak to take it against Beagle. Nicolat gets it. Instead of carrying it in, he'll just dump it in this time. Dmitry Yakishin will pick it up in his own zone. Wanted to get it to Petrovicki, but instead the puck goes down the ice, and Friesen is going to play it and leave it for Jeremy Reach. Jeremy Reach, who came over to the Broncos from the Seattle Thunderbirds at the trade deadline. Now that's Nicolat with it. He'll bring it out. Long lead pass up for Beagle. He couldn't control it. And then Petrovicki dumped on his rear as the puck gets sent back into the Regina zone. And as Yakushin touches it, icing is called. We have played 1 minute and 23 seconds here. In case you're just joining us, I'm Mitchell Blair along with Paul Barnby. And you're enjoying Western Hockey League action live from the Regina Agrodome. This basically a first place showdown. If the Pats win, they still have a chance at finishing first. If the Broncos win, they will finish first in the East. The gruff but lovable Pete Pasco controlling things downstairs, and we'll be hearing from him as the night goes on.
Get a look at Dmitry Yakushin there skating off. Speaking of knees, as he injured his knee in the last Pat game, but out there taking a regular shift tonight.
There's Roosevelt with it, so he wasn't hurt that bad, maybe just a little stinger or something. And he is back on the ice, patrolling the blue line for the Broncos. Now Jackman and Drummond behind the net fighting for it. Drummond comes away with it. Jackman watching him. That's Schaefer following up on the play. Schaefer wanted to get it to Serdachny, and that didn't work. And now Lanigan tries to backhand over the zone, but Schaefer keeps it in. Schaefer trying to find some open room, has some, now centers it out front. Hoople got a stick on it and steers it aside. Fedoruk hammered Roosevelt into the side boards right by the Pats bench. Pratt overskates the puck. Serdachny centers it, and now coming away with it, but not getting it out was Pratt as Serdachny managed to shovel it back in. Broncos go to the bench for a change, and the Pats will try and get out again. That's Harlan Pratt, who just dumps it to an open wing. Henkelman wanted to get it out, or begin to the zone. Pratt loved it down and comes away with it and takes the long shot in on Friesen. That's way wide, and now Drummond will steer away for the Broncos. We're going to have our first penalty of the night. It is going to be a hook, and it is going to go against the Broncos' Brett Allen.
Now we get a look at Josh Holden there, and with his good aggressive effort of going to that net, trying to pick up that rebound, actually gave the Swift Current Bronco a little shot in the head when he went by there, and Allen, unable to restrain himself, was forced to hook Holden down, throw him on the ice, and this is going to put the Pats on the power play here, come into the game at a 21.8 clip, and it's a little unusual. You expect the Regina Pats, obviously, to take more of the penalties than the Broncos. We'll see if the Pats can capitalize early and get one behind Friesen.
22%, I think you'd have to be pretty happy with that percentage throughout the season.
Yeah, you would. You'd like to have it a little higher. You know, by contrast, the Broncos come in about 24.3, so they're up around that 25% mark, and ideally that's where you'd like to sit, scoring about a quarter of your chances, and Pats obviously getting better. One of the big additions to that power play down there has been Dmitry Yakushin, and he's got some great puck handling ability back in that blue line. Seems to really have made a little bit of a spark back there in that Pat power play, so we'll see if they can capitalize here.
As you get a look at the crowd here, I'll tell you what, Paul, it reminds me of watching the Scott Tournament of Hearts. There's fans everywhere you look tonight. They're up in the bleachers even. Off the draw, this is Kane. Kane down low to Serjak. Serjak couldn't bang it in, then he has some problems with Friesen out in front of the net, and now the puck gets dumped down the ice, and Yakushin will pick it up there. Yakushin being watched by Kerwin. Now Brad Stewart has it. Stewart wanted to get it to Kane. He has problems with the puck, and now comes away with it. Boyd Kane circling in his own zone. The Pittsburgh Penguins draft pick comes across the line, moves into the corner with it. Kane looking for somebody out front, couldn't find anybody. Now Serjak and Henkelman fight for it. Now Holden has it. Holden lost it to the Broncos' Jeff Kerwin, and he dumps it down the ice. $1:21 to go in the penalty to Brett Allen. He's in the box, 2 minutes for hooking. Stewart will bring it out for the Pats. Over to Kane. Kane along the right wing boards. Sends it into the Pats zone. That's Stewart. He lost it as the puck went through his legs, and coming away with it is Jeremy Reach. Now Yakushin will pick it up behind his own net. Yakushin wanted to throw it to Kane on the right wing boards, but Kane had cut into the center, so Petrovicki had to come back to pick up the loose puck, and now Yakushin has it. Dmitry Yakushin up to Holden in the center ice area. Josh Holden crosses the line, dances with it a little bit, and then Nicolat picked it up and gets it out, and the Pats having a problem here getting going on the power play. Holden to Petrovicki. Ronald Petrovicki, who comes into the night, 62 goals, 49 assists for 111 points, and no doubt, Paul, he has been a huge reason why the Pats are where they are this season.
Well, if you want to talk about, you know, the most valuable player kind of an award, he would certainly be one of them that would rank up there. He has put up some amazing stats coming to the Pats this year. 62 goals, 49 assists, 111 points. That's offensive production, boy.
I'll take it. Here comes the Pats captain, Jared Adams. Adams to Fedoruk. Fedoruk trying to split the defense. Does so. Fedoruk got it over to Lysak in the wing. Lysak couldn't find the puck in his skates. Now Lysak has it again. He'll try to chip it back to the point to Adams. 5 seconds to go in the penalty to Allen as they dig along the boards. Adams keeps it in. Now Adams at the point. Winds up, takes the shot. That's deflected. And Friesen makes the save as I believe it was Brett Lysak who got his stick on that drive by Jared Adams and put it right on the guy you're seeing right there, the property of the San Jose Sharks, Terry Friesen.
Now, the last time Friesen was in here, I thought maybe that he went down a little bit too much. The Pats put a couple of goals up in that top shelf, and again we saw him down on basically all fours there. The shot coming in from the point. Lysak getting his stick on it, making the big tip, but good low hard shot from the point. I think the Pats, when they get in close, going to try to make sure they get that puck up on Friesen. Appears to be the only weakness he has is he's a very good goaltender.
Lysak to take the draw for Regina against Chad Beagle. Broncos win the draw, and that's Kulak with it. Kulak lost it to Maruka. Maruka in the corner, moving around Roosevelt. Petrovicki's going to pick up the loose puck. Kavanaugh thought about cutting into the slot and went back to his blue line position. Didn't matter though, as the Broncos clear it down the ice. And as Dmitry Yakushin touches the puck, it will be called for icing with 15:09 to go in this first period as you take a look at Dmitry Yakushin.
Well, you might be seeing a little case of the nerves here as both teams seem a little bit tentative.
Sort of like a
Pat's not
heavyweight fight, just sort of feeling each other out in the first
you
couple
got
of
it.
rounds.
Well, I think they both realize the importance of this hockey game, obviously. They'd like to get that first place finish if at all possible. And, you know, Swift Current's going to finish with 2 on the road, so this is an important game for them, obviously. They'd like to lock up first place tonight rather than waiting to see what happens in Brandon and how the Pats make out against Moose Jaw.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, it could be some scoreboard watching on Sunday night if the Pats win tonight and tomorrow in Moose Jaw. The Broncos will be really wanting to find out what happens at the Agrodome Sunday night when the Warriors are here. Petrovicki behind the net. Petrovicki tries the wraparound, and Friesen just managed to get the pad up against the post to keep the frozen disc of rubber from getting behind him, and we remain scoreless.
Well, a very good effort by Ronald Petrovicki as he just picks up that puck in the corner, gives him a good little bump, and then that quick move around the net. But Friesen, like a cat, is able to get over there, get that pad up against that post, and snuffs out that good scoring opportunity by Ronald Petrovicki.
Holden, Kane, Sir Jack, Stewart, and Adams out there for the guys in white as you take a look at that chance by Petrovicki again. As we return to play, that's Henkelman with it. Henkelman shovels it out of the Broncos zone, and that's Holden picking it up. Holden with the pass for somebody out there. Tyler Murray picked it up, and now this is Varlamov. Don't want to let this guy free. Varlamov comes in and takes a shot, and Hupel managed to steer that aside as Varlamov went to the backhand with Brad Stewart draped all over him. Varlamov tries to pick it up again, but Kane rides him off the puck. Then Stewart's right there to take it away from him. And now Adams will dump it down into the Swift Current zone, and Friesen is going to leave it for Drummond. Drummond to Henkelman. Henkelman just wanted to steer it out, couldn't do so. Sir Jack centered it. Holden wasn't ready for it, though. The Broncos intercepted the pass, and the crowd gives a little cheer as Josh Holden banged to somebody, and then Holden gets nailed himself, and folks, we have got ourselves a little brouhaha.
Well, you can see the tension. Obviously, a lot of emotion running around out here on this ice, and big hit by Boyd Kane was going to be the initial penalty call by referee Meyer. I'm not quite sure exactly why he was calling that. It appeared to be a good hit by Boyd Kane, and that attracted a lot of traffic right off the bat. Josh Holden came in with another good hit. Somebody grabbed him. We'll get a look at this on the replay here. You can see Kane go over with the good hit initially. Josh Holden then steps into his man.
Actually, Paul, I think the original penalty was going to be called on Holden behind the net when he ran into the Bronco defenseman.
Oh, you think it was called there? Because I thought the referee's hand went up when Kane hit that guy over on the far boards. And
I was just
see if we can get a look at it here. We'll see Holden come in, puts the big hit on the side, and then we got Tyler Murray shows up on the scene here and decks Holden.
And I think it was Tyler Murray that Josh cranked behind the net.
Well, maybe that's exactly what happened. Lost his composure a little bit, and this should end up being offsetting. No, Boyd Kane is going to get a penalty here, and we're not quite sure why up here in the booth.
I'll hold it in the box as well. So Meyer, Sartizan, and Mercer are going to talk it over. We'll tell you what's on tap in the first intermission tonight. Pete will have a chat with Jared Adams, who has been by far and away one of the most consistent Pats defensemen right from day one this season. Of course, Jared winding down his junior career with the Pats, so he's hoping it's a long playoff run. We'll also have a chat with Perry Shockey that we did before the game. Our second intermission tonight, we'll be chatting with Sergei Varlamov of the Broncos and their coach, Todd McClellan.
We'll just take this opportunity to thank the sponsors who are bringing you this hockey game tonight, and so far we've got a thriller going on. A&J Display, Western Pizza, and Sask Lotteries. Thank you very much to those sponsors who make this telecast possible.
Right now it would appear as if the Broncos are going to get a power play to this, as the only minor on the board is to Kane. Holden's also down in the penalty box. There's also a Bronco down there. Cannot see his number.
Tyler Murray's down there as well. So those were the offsetting penalties that were called, and Kane did pick one up. I thought the referee called him for a penalty, but
number
not quite sure why.
Tyler Murray, 2 minutes for roughing. To the Regina Pats, number 18, Boyd Kane, 2 minutes for charging. And to number 21, Josh Holden, 2 minutes for roughing. Time of the penalties, 5 minutes and 58 seconds.
So there you go, Murray and Holden for roughing and Kane for boarding. And that gives the Broncos their first power play of the evening.
If you are sitting in section,
well, and the Broncos have a good one. You can see it right there, 91 for 375, a 24.3 third. In the WHL, I'll tell you what, that's a power play that clicks along, and there's no wonder why when you look at the guys they can throw out there with Varlamov and Kerwin. You got some real goal scorers that can put the puck in the net, but Roosevelt back on defense.
Henkelman picks it up for the Pats, or for the Broncos, behind his own net. Henkelman dangerously in front of his own net as he got away from the forecheck of Petrovitsky and Lysak. I think the 20-year-old knew better than to stick him in front of his own net like that. Then Henkelman with the pass for Kerwin. That went past him and down the ice. Adams picks it up. He's going to try and rifle it around the boards. Nicolat keeps it in. Puck bounces high in the air. Broncos retain possession. That's Varlamov to Nicolat. Nicolat tried to hit Kerwin, who was cruising into the back door, but that pass was intercepted by the Pats and sent down the ice. 55 seconds to go in the minor to Boyd Kane. Henkelman to Allen. Brett, please don't confuse me with Jeff Allen. Sends it into the Pats zone. Then a little bit of confusion there as the puck just about bounced out into the slot area. Drummond will pick it up for the Broncos now along the boards. Gets it to Henkelman. Henkelman across. There's a shot by Reach. Rebound right there. Hoople with a couple of big saves. The second one off the stick of Jeremy Rondo. That's Rondo with it now to Drummond at the point. Drummond wanted to get it down low to Allen. That didn't work, and now Reach has it on the far side. Reach. Now it's at the point to Roosevelt. He takes the shot. Hoople goes to his pads to stop that. Broncos still keep it in. 11 seconds to go in the penalty. Perhaps time for one last shot. That's Roosevelt taking it. That puck was tipped by Reach and went just wide. Reach into the slot to Drummond. Drummond wanted to go to the backhand. Couldn't get the shot away, though. Reach keeps it in. Well, that's sent it out for Allen. Allen couldn't get a shot away, and Stewart rides him into the boards. Broncos are going to keep it. It's Roosevelt with a quick shot, and that one went wide. Somebody's without a stick out there as one is broken, and now this is Kane. Boyd Kane trying to move around Roosevelt. Kane went to the backhand, but a nice job by the Swift Current defenseman to keep Kane from getting the shot that he wanted. And now Drew Keller has it for the Pats. Gets it to Kane, who quickly gets it up to Lanigan. Shane Lanigan wanted to move around Nicolat, couldn't do so. Here come the Broncos. Dumped into the Regina zone. Hoople was going to leave it for Keller, then decides to scoop it around the board. Schaefer picks it up. He's being watched by Lanigan. Lanigan watching Schaefer. Puck goes behind the net. Yakushin comes in to rub out Twardick on the play. Now Maruka and Hulak bump bodies in the corner. Puck comes loose to Yakushin. He sits behind his own net, puts on the brakes, and gets it up to Fedoruk. Fedoruk to Keller. Keller. Broncos doing a great job here keeping the puck in. Now Mohagan with a shot. Hoople gloves it. He decides, you know, boys, I think we're going to have a little rest. And then there was a little activity in front of Hoople, and Dad said, hey, you can't do that, boys. And we're going to talk about it in the corner. And you're shaking your head.
I think Shane Lanigan picked one up for roughing there, and it wasn't a very smart play by the assistant captain that time. And it was a good save by Hoople. As you said, Mitchell, there's some tremendous forechecking going on by the Swift Current Broncos. Maybe a little frustration on Shane Lanigan's part. Gave the Bronco that was in front of the net a couple of quick left jabs to the head. Well, maybe we'll get a look at it here. See, 1, 2, wasn't satisfied with that. As soon as you get that second one in there on Twardick, boom, up comes Meyer's hand, and that's a cheap penalty to take in a very tight hockey game like this. It's going to put his team down for 2 minutes.
As you get a look at some of the fans enjoying themselves, there's a bunch in Cable Regina, Cable Kids section, Double E.
Well, those penalties can be a problem too. The Pats take about 7 to 8 minutes more than the Broncos do.
Drummond to Varlamov. We're going to give Lanigan 2 minutes for holding the stick. Okay, all right. Holden gets to it and dumps it down the ice, and that gets a round of applause from the many that have gathered here at the Dome tonight. Hope there's many gathered in front of their TV sets, and a special hello to all of you at home watching the game tonight on Cable Regina, Regina Television Channel 7. Varlamov centered it out front, and that was Kerwin looking to put it in the open side. Now Kerwin on his, or that was Reach getting it to Kerwin. Now that's Roosevelt. Roosevelt takes the shot. Adams stopped that. Puck's loose. Reach there, and so's Hoople. And he will stop it for the face-off. And then again, a little bit of activity as Stewart's in there. Reach is in there. I can't quite see the other guy in there. It's Jared Adams. Now as we get a good look at Jared being escorted away from the scene by Troy Sardison.
Well,
Troy's telling him Olympic tales.
Yeah, no question about it. And we're going to get a couple of roughing calls here for sure. But Jeremy Reach has been a force here this evening. He's handed out a couple of big body checks. young man from Craik, Saskatchewan. Came over, as you mentioned, in that trade. He's a big 6'1", 190-pounder. I remember when he was peewee age, actually, Jeremy Reach from Craik played bantam pretty well all through the year, so he's obviously used to playing with older, tougher guys. And get a look at that quick shot there by Michael Rocheval. Jared Adams, Pat Captain, knocks it down, but laying in the feet, Reach takes a few whacks at it. And he gets locked up with Brad Stewart. That's what starts the whole thing, as he sees Jeremy Reach push him down. Jared Adams jumps in there, and both of them are going to take a couple minutes to just cool out a little bit.
Minute 18 to go in the penalty to Shane Lanigan. Beagle to take the draw against Surjak. Stewart gets it. He's going to try and fire it around the boards. Kane's also there. Kane and Drummond managed to keep the puck in, and now it goes out courtesy of Boyd Kane.
43 seconds.
That is Roosevelt behind his net. Minute to go in the penalty. Varlamov. Long cross ice pass for Drummond. Drummond moving it on Stewart, has Rondo with him along with Varlamov. Drummond goes behind the net, drops it off for Jeremy Rondo. Rondo knocked off the puck by Yakishin, and Yakishin finds some open space and dumps it out of the Pat zone, out of harm's way for the time being. Now Roosevelt, who had a great All-Star game here at the Dome. That is Rondo with it now. Rondo gets it back to the point to Henkelman. Henkelman flipped one on goal. That hit a couple of bodies out front. Then a quick backhander by Beagle. Hoople got a pad on that. Henkelman with a shot. Hoople gets a glove on that. And Ryan Hoople will hang onto the puck as he sprawls out. And we will have a face-off with 15 seconds to go in the minor to Lanigan. 9:14 to go in this opening 20 minutes of play.
Now another good save by Ryan Hoople that time, and a good job by Drew Keller covering up and making sure he ties up any of the Broncos that are around that Pat net there. You can just see him shoving one of the Broncos by that red line, and that's important. Get him in behind the net, allow Hoople to corral that rebound. Comes up with a big save, and I'll tell you what, if you can control those rebounds, don't give them those second shots, you can really cut down on your goals against.
That's Nicolat with a shot, and again, Hoople makes the save, and then he's pushed into the goal by Mohagan, but the whistle had gone before Hoople went into the net, and I think Hoople actually did manage to keep his glove from going across the line, so we'll have another face-off as the Broncos get a quick shot on goal right off the draw.
Yeah, 11 seconds to go in this penalty as well. Dmitry Yakushin out there, we mentioned he hurt his knee in the last game, but doesn't appear to be any the worse for wear. Taking a regular shift and helping to kill this last 11 seconds off on the penalty to Shane Lanigan.
Tordick was going to take the draw against Lysak. He's kicked out, so Holden will move in. Broncos win the draw, but it goes out across the line, and that should effectively kill off the penalty to Shane Lanigan. Henkelman leaves it for Nicolat as Lanigan steps out of the box. Here come the Broncos. It's Nicolat being watched by Lysak. Nicolat crosses center ice, hammers it into the Pat zone. Jackman picks it up there, but you know what, Paul? Lawrence Nicolat had not quite crossed center when he shot that puck in, so the Broncos are going to be called down on the icing.
Well, that's a couple of big penalty kills for the Regina Pats early in this game, and I'm sure Todd McClellan would like to have something on the board for his Broncos. He mentioned that Leader Post article that appeared in the paper, and the Todd McClellan, the Swift Current Broncos, voted the best coach, and that's by the opposition coaches and the opposition players. So,
and I will agree with that 100%. You know, another one, and I'm glad to see it, but I'm surprised, not because he got named with the honor, but because he sort of gets some recognition. And that's the best defensive defenseman. It went to Jared Adams.
Yeah, that is an honor when you think when it's by the opposition players.
And as I said, it's a surprise, but not because of what he can do. It's just a surprise because Jared Adams is getting some recognition, and he's sort of gone through his career really, you know, with not a lot of fanfare and that, which is the way that Jared likes it, but I think that's going to be an honor for him.
Yeah, that's right. He won that Unsung Hero Award for the team in his first year of play, and that's sort of typifies his career, really. Just a hardworking, not a very flashy player, but he gets the job done defensively in his own end and certainly prepared to stick up for his teammates.
Harlan Pratt dumps it into the Broncos zone, and now picking it up there is Rocheval. He wants to get it to Kerwin, did so, but Lysak manages to tie him up and get it back into the corner. Frederick, then gets it to Lysak. Lysak wants to get it back to Frederick, but he's being watched by Kerwin. Lysak wants to steer it out. Now Lysak with a good move, takes a quick shot on Friesen. Nice job there by Brett Lysak in keeping his body between the defender and the puck, and he worked his way around where he could get not a good shot on Terry Friesen, but a legitimate chance, and he made the most of it.
Well, that's what you want out of Brett Lysak. Some good, tough, hard work down low. He's able to get the job done down there. He puts a nice little spin move on that Swift Current defenseman, and as a result of that, creates a little open ice for himself. Comes in around behind the net, has a jab at it. You'll get a little look at this move right there where he puts that little spin move. Big Kyle Frederick out in front would have liked to have been able to maintain his position and maybe whack away at Friesen a little bit, see if they could get that rebound in behind him.
We are scoreless here at the Agridome. A sold-out Agridome, I should add, which is going to put a smile on the faces of the Parker family. And the Parker family here tonight. Russ here as well as Brent. Varlamov takes a quick shot. Actually, that didn't get through as Stewart got his stick on it. And now back come the Pats. This is Fedoruk crossing the line, had Maruka with him. And Maruka a little too eager as he goes offside. So we will have a face-off outside the Bronco line as Todd Fedoruk picks himself up after he was dumped after the whistle had blown. And there you get a look at a guy who's had a pretty solid season for this hockey team, David Maruka.
Well, that's right. David Maruka, I think, I'll tell you what, reminds me in some respects of a younger Boyd Kane, a good physical hockey player. He can really grind down low along those boards and able to create some offensive chances for himself. He's going to get more ice time with Kyle Calder being on the shelf with that broken finger as well.
Rojeval with it for the Broncos, cuts in on the right-hand side, dumped it towards the net, and the Pats are going to bring it out. This is Holden. Josh Holden has Fedoruk with him, had Adams with him as well. Now that's Petrovicki following up on the play. Petrovicki centered it out front for Holden. He got a weak shot away. It went wide. Stewart has it. Dumps it back in the corner for Petrovicki. Petrovicki rubbed into the boards by Henkelman. Fedoruk follows up. He's knocked off the puck by Rojeval. Now Petrovicki and Rojeval are going to go after it along the sideboards. Petrovicki has it. And it's still loose around there. And now it's finally, well, I thought it was going to come out, but it's not as it stays in. And now on the second attempt, it goes out as flipping it high into the air was Jeremy Rondeau. Brad Stewart to Holden. Holden wanted to get it to Petrovicki, now following up is Kane. Kane ridden out on the play by Nicolat. Puck now goes to the far side, and that's where Quinn Sherdahl has it. Quinn Sherdahl bumped hard into the boards by Josh Holden. And Holden knocked on his can by Twardek, and the puck finds itself in the Swift Current zone, and now Schaefer has it at center. Twardek with it. Twardek wanted to dump it in deeper into the Pats zone, and now it's deep in the Pats zone as that's Jackman with it. Jackman tried to get it out, couldn't do so. Now it comes back to the point. There's a shot. That one goes wide off the stick of Twardek. Serjak, the 20-year-old, gets it up to Kane. Kane nailed into the boards by Serdachny, and he is going to sit down for 2 minutes because of that. And Kane has some words for Meyer. He goes into the box, and Serdachny has some words for Meyer as he goes into the box.
Well, I'll tell you what, that's a bit of a cheapie on the part of the Broncos as well. I have to admit that. That's a penalty that actually I thought initially they were going to call against the Regina Pats for interference. And see. As it turned out, there's a look at the Parkers up in the box and surveying the situation. Obviously reasonably pleased here with 6:19. A big crowd in attendance. We're going to get a look at it here. We'll get the big hit on Kane Serdachny coming over. Boyd Kane just gets rid of the puck and then ridden hard into the boards. I'll tell you, a big tough guy like Boyd Kane, is going to take a lot more than that to keep him down. He loves that heavy going. That's the kind of game he likes to play.
Broncos penalty to number 20, Dean Serdachny, 2 minutes for high sticking. That's Serdachny, 2 minutes for high sticking. Time of the penalty, 13 minutes and 41 seconds.
There you go, Serdachny 2 for high sticking, 13:41. That's in their second power play of the evening. Brad Stewart comes to center ice, tried to feather a pass into Fedoruk. He wasn't ready for it. Rojeval gets to it, tried to get it out. Yakushin kept it in. Now that's Lysak. Behind the net to Petrovicki, out for Fedoruk, and he couldn't get a shot away. Lysak to Petrovicki, to Yakushin. Yakushin lost control of it, and Jeff Kerwin says, "Thank you very much, Dimitri." And he will dump it down the ice where Brad Stewart will collect it. Stewart, long pass for Petrovicki. He drops it to Yakishin, who fires it to Lysak. Nice job of controlling the puck there by Lysak. Then Nicolat tried to step into the St. Albert native. And he got the worst of that collision as Nicolat went butt over tea kettle into the boards.
Tell you what, Brett Lysak, pretty well put together young man. He's not that old. Born in 1980, so playing as a 17-year-old, but a very young 1980. Just gets his arms up, got his head up, saw what was coming, was able to brace himself, and Nicolette gets the worst of that deal. But the Pats here with a minute left in this power play would really like to try to capitalize. You can just see him drop his shoulder there just at the last minute and delivers a good blow.
Welcomed Lawrence to town. This is Adams at the right point. Adams thought about shooting it, then decides not to. Now he gets it again. One-timer takes the shot. That went off the pad of Chad Beagle and bounces out over the line. Pratt to Adams, back to Pratt. Harlan Pratt, who came to the Pats for Cody Jensen about a month and a half ago from the PA Raiders.
Gonna get a little bit of a mix-up there.
You get a look at Lawrence Nicolat.
No, we've seen a couple of fairly anemic power play attempts by both teams here, obviously, in this hockey game.
Oh, is it anemic power plays or just good penalty killing?
Well, okay, maybe it's good penalty killing, but neither team has been able to really generate any good offensive effort or sustained pressure on that power play. And again, I think that's just a matter of nerves here, not wanting to make a mistake. You don't want to take too many chances. Maybe thinking a little bit about defense before you're thinking about offense in a tight hockey game like this.
Playoff style hockey, Mr. Barnby.
That's what you want to see.
Get used to it because we're going to see a lot of it in the next few weeks. I hope. Now this is Pratt. Pratt takes a shot. Rebound right there. And missing the chance on the rebound was Serjak as the Bronco defenseman got his stick on it to prevent the puck from going into the yawning cage as Terry Friesen had left the one side open after the shot by Pratt. Now this is Adams dipsy-doodling his way. Lost it to Henkelman. Now Holden picks it up. And now the Broncos are back at full strength. Puck dumped down in the Regina zone. Hoople stops it, leaves it for Jared Adams. 4 minutes to go in this first period. We're still looking for our first goal of the night. Adams tried to clear it out. All he did was knock it off the shin of Brad Meyer. Second attempt does get out. Nicolat and Friedrich are going to chase it down. Nicolat got to it first, and then the puck comes out to center ice as the Broncos clear it. Doing the duties was Brent Twardick. Stewart wanted to get it to Lanigan. That doesn't work. Puck gets kicked out over the line, and then Lanigan, while on his rear, manages to pin the puck up against the boards of the skate. So we will have a face-off just outside the Swift Current line.
Oh, you got to look at Shane Lanigan, one of the character players of the Regina Pats. Left winger, 6 feet tall, 180 pounds, and one of the few Saskatchewan kids on this team from Strasbourg, just north and a little bit west of Regina, I think is where it's located. But he certainly had a tough start to the season, got in that car accident, I think, that everybody's aware of, but he's come back, played in 34 games, and been a big contributor.
Yeah, if you remember the last game we did on Cable Regina against the Lethbridge Hurricanes, we had a good chat with Shane Lanigan about the tough year he's had and the way that he's made the most of it. Kane takes the shot, that blocked by Hulak, and now Kerwin picks up the loose puck. The native of Gull Lake will just send it out to center where Kavanaugh gets to it. Now Yakishin with it. Yakishin being watched by Beagle, and Kavanaugh says, "I'll take that puck." And he'll dump it out looking for Kane, and the puck was too high for Kane. Goes down the ice, and as Hulak touches it, icing is called.
Well, we got Kavanaugh involved again with Jeremy Reach, and gives him a little shot. Reach has been one feisty customer for the Broncos here this evening, and Clint Kavanaugh is not exactly a shrinking violet either, as he is more than prepared to mix it up out there and brings a certain dimension of toughness to that Regina Pat blue line.
As you see a young fan with a sign putting his support on. His sister doesn't look too interested. There's a couple kids that look a little more interested, dancing around. I do believe they see themselves on the big screen.
Yeah, they're going for that Pat's hardest working fan award.
You got it. There's some of the fans way up in the bleachers tonight. With the puck, that is Lysak with it. He promptly lost it. Now it's centered out front. Lysak manages to get it out of the zone for the Pats. And now at the Swift Current line, it's Nicolad who gets it up to Murray. Tyler Murray wanting to move around Keller. Murray puts on the brakes and Keller knocks the puck into the corner. Now the two fight for it in the corner. Looking for a loose puck is Jeff Schaefer. He had it for a moment. Hoople comes out of his crease and he will dump the puck out himself. Henkelman for Nicolad. Nicolad's going to come across the line. He's being watched by Fedoruk. He managed to get it in to the Pats zone. Jackman hooked off the puck by Schaefer. Jackman comes back to try and pick up the puck. Keller and his man, that is Allen, fighting for it. Allen with the wraparound, rebound, another shot. Hoople right there to make the save, as he made a couple of saves off of Brett Allen, and Barrett Jackman, who was following up on the play, tries to curtail the enthusiasm that Allen had.
Well, that's a good idea too, because Allen's one of their big tough guys for sure.
Paul, what is it with games on Cable Regina lately? Nobody wants to score. Well, last game 1-0, tonight scoreless after one.
Yeah, but you mentioned this playoff hockey.
Yeah,
get used
right.
to it. I'll tell you what, goals are hard to come by in the playoffs. There's not that much room on the ice. You get that close checking defensive style. You wait for your opportunities. You don't make a mistake, and you got to get a big effort from everybody on your bench. You can't count on one or two or three guys to do it. Not much room for the superstars to skate around out there, so the grinders have to kick her into high gear.
Stewart being watched by Varlamov. Stewart spins away from Varlamov, gets it to Serjak. Serjak, long pass for Kane. Kane had it bounce off his stick, and now Roosevelt has it for the Broncos. He just dumps it high into the Pats zone. Stewart picks it up there, and as he touches the puck, icing is called. Paul, just want to take a second to congratulate the University of Regina Lady Cougars basketball team. They were winners this afternoon in their opening game of the CIAU National Championships. They beat Concordia by a score of 88-87, so they will play the winner of the University of Victoria Prince Edward Island game going on tonight. Tomorrow in a semifinal, if they win that one, they will be in the finals on Sunday night, and that will be on TSN.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, that's a big victory for the Lady Cougars, coming off that disappointment the weekend before, coming back with a big win over Concordia, albeit by 1 point. Did what they had to do, and maybe they get some of that momentum back.
Watched that series last weekend, and even though the Bisons won in 3 straight, still think Regina's got the better team, and they'll prove it Sunday night if they get another shot at the Bisons. Should also pass along a curling score for you. If you didn't hear, Rod Montgomery's done at the Briar. He was beaten 6-3 by Dale Duguid of Manitoba this afternoon. Lysak with the puck as we're down to the last 90 seconds of the period. Now Drummond hammered on the play by Fedoruk. And this is Stewart coming back for the Pats. Stewart has Fedoruk and Lysak with him. Stewart wanted to get it to Fedoruk but couldn't do so and ends up flipping it into the corner. Now Lysak has it. Lysak chasing it down. Jared Adams comes in to pick up the loose puck. Drummond has it there. Petrovicki follows up on the play, grabs the puck, had it momentarily. And now it is Fedoruk out for Petrovicki, and that pass was dangerously close to going in the stick of Petrovicki, and if that would have been the case, Terry Friesen may have been scooping the puck out of his net. Roosevelt for Henkelman. Puck is loose, and Kane flattened on the play there. And are we going to get a penalty on that? As Kane was flattened there by one of the Broncos. Didn't catch the number of it, and then the whistle went. I was looking to see if Kane was going to get up, and if so, if he was going to take a swipe at the Bronco.
I think it might have been Jeremy Rondo who's handed out a couple of big hits. Clint Cavanaugh over there having a little chat with Brad Meyer. We'll get a look here. You see the big shot. Kane at the blue line. But like I said, he likes this kind of a game. That physical grinding style is what Boyd Kane appreciates in hockey. Now that was Jeremy Rondo that came over and tagged Boyd Kane at that blue line.
Fight for the puck off the draw. It comes behind the Swift Current net where Nicolad gets to it, and he's going to dance out of the Bronco zone. Wanted to get it up to Rondo. That pass too far for him. Rondo and Yakishin chase it down, and Dimitri gets to it first, so we will have an icing and a face-off deep in the Bronco zone with 32.8 seconds to go in this first period of play, and I'm sure that Brent Parker and Perry Shockey must cringe whenever they see Dmitry Yakishin go spilling into the boards like he just did there.
Yeah, I'm not so
he
sure
has had
that
some knee problems, and that one may have actually bothered him a little bit.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, then Jeremy Rondo trailing in behind him there maybe gave him a little bit of a shove, and I'm surprised that one of the Pat players didn't react to some of that out there. You see one of the sky boxes here at the Regina Agrodome with the fans looking on with about as much tension as I'm sure the players are feeling out there. 32 seconds left to play in this first period and no score to report as of yet.
Nicolat with the puck. Flips it off the boards for Rondo. Fedoruk and Yakishin were getting set to have a Jeremy Rondo sandwich, and at the last second they decided against it.
Well, I think what happened was Jeremy Rondo realized that he was skating with his head down. Yakishin was coming up full tilt, and he just decided to forget about the puck for a minute here and maybe look after himself, and avoided a major collision at that Regina Pat blue line.
Speaking of major collisions, how about the one involving Shane Willis here on Wednesday night?
Yeah, that was a little bit scary for
Yes,
sure.
it was.
Big contact there between Jared Adams and Borders from Lethbridge. Willis got tangled up with Maruka somewhere in that pile-up and cut himself quite badly.
I imagine that Shane Willis will be out of the Hurricane lineup for not quite a while, but the next little bit after that. Now here's Petrovitsky, takes the shot. Friesen got a pad on that and then looked around for the rebound, and it bounced out of harm's way as the horn goes to end the first period of play. In a first period in which you said, Paul, sort of more where the teams sort of felt each other out. It was almost as if it was the first game of a playoff series with the way they went at it.
Well, you could think of it like that. I like to think of it more as like a seventh game kind of a situation. It's almost like a do or a die. I mean, the team that wins this is obviously going to, well, if Swift wins it, they've got first place for sure. If Regina wins it, they still got a little bit of unfinished business, but certainly puts them in a position to be in first place. And yeah, you got to get that puck up on Friesen, though. We've seen a couple of chances on wraparounds. They've tried to stuff it in that low side, and I really think if they went upstairs with that puck, it would make a difference. We've seen Friesen down quite a bit. So far, they haven't been able to get anything by him, however.
So what do you tell your teams if you're the coaches?
Well, I think what you want to talk about down there is doing exactly what you've done here in the first period. You got to work hard, you got to create your chances, and you got to go to the net, get in front of the goalie, do some screening, and see if you can get a lucky one by him.
Well, it's time to put Pete Pasco to work. I know that this guy hardly ever works, at least doesn't work hard, so we're going to throw it down to him in just a few minutes. He'll be talking with Jared Adams. Mitchell Blair and Paul Barnby back upstairs ready to call this second 20 minutes of action. And Paul, first goal is going to be a biggie.
Well, it is, and you know, playoff goals are hard to come by, and this game's got that playoff atmosphere, so that's exactly what we're waiting for, is that first one. Heard Jared Adams in the intermission said once you get one by Terry Friesen, you might get more, and you got to get the puck upstairs.
We heard Jared Adams say that maybe some of the boys a little intimidated by this big crowd tonight. That's sort of a surprising statement to hear.
You know, I'll tell you something. You learn a lot about your players in a game like this. It's the kind of a thing where nerves play a big role, right? You got the full house. The game's got tremendous importance. You find out the players that can play under pressure and are really able to respond. So we'll get a look at that tonight. We're going to learn a lot about the kids out there and who's ready for playoff action.
Do you think maybe it was a case of first period jitters and now that's over with, and now we're going to see the Regina Pats hockey team that we're used to seeing in the second 20 minutes?
I think you'll probably see more of the same. I think the Pats will probably open it up a little bit. The other thing is the second period is a big period for the Swift Current Broncos all year long. They've outshot their opposition 874 to 693 in the second period.
Goodness.
But get this, outscored them 102 to 76. Potted 83 goals in the first period and the third period, but 102 in the second period. This is the period that the Swift Current Broncos really get after you, and we get a look here. We saw no scoring in that first period. The Broncos did outshoot the Pats 11 to 6. So not much offense in that first period, not many good scoring opportunities. Pats had a couple wraparounds, unable to put it behind Friesen.
Paul, before we get to the second period, last night you had a chance to attend the Sask Sport 1997 Athlete of the Year banquet, a great night over at Queensbury Center, and congratulations to all the athletes that were nominated. Special congratulations, of course, to Katrina LeMay Doan, Jason Parker, Ted Gilletta, and the Sandra Schmerler rink. I'll tell you what, Saskatchewan is developing a fine crop of athletes, and this is just the start, I think, of some great years to come for the
Well, I'll
province.
tell you what, all the people in Saskatchewan can be proud the fact that Saskatchewan Lotteries plays a big role in the development of athletes. People are buying lottery tickets out there, obviously helping that development. Canada had 6 gold medals at the Olympics. Saskatchewan had 2 of them.
Yep.
That's quite an accomplishment for a small province.
It is. And as I said, a great night last night over at Queensbury Centre. And congratulations to all the winners and to all the nominees. And also congratulations going out to the Balfour Senior High boys and girls basketball teams who won the city championships here at the Agridome last night. You're going to see those games later this weekend on Channel 7 Cable Regina Television. Sheldon knocking out my Campbell Tartans. No provincial basketball championship for Campbell this year. No provincial football championship for this year. Oh, well, I guess we'll just have to do it next year for the Tartans. As we start the second period of play, puck dumped down into the Regina zone, and picking it up there is Clint Kavanaugh. Kavanaugh wanted to get it to Fedoruk. He was rubbed off the puck by the Bronco defenseman. It goes right down to Friesen, who will leave it for Henkelman. Petrovitsky watching him. Henkelman gets it up to Jeremy Reach. Reach, long pass for Kerwin. Kerwin coming down the right side, takes the shot. Hoople sticks the glove out, makes the save, and decides we will have an early stoppage. 38 seconds into this second period of action. We are still looking for our first dent on the score sheet. We're scoreless.
Well, it's interesting. We talked about how the second period is the Swift Current Bronco period, and when you look at the Pat statistics, second period they turn up the heat too. They get up to 107 goals for, only 81 against, but in the third period they're able to up that to 119. So second period's the Swift Current Broncos. You'd expect the Pats to come hard on the third period here. It'd be very important for the Pats to pay attention in this period, keep this game close, try to get out in front of the Broncos early.
Stewart with the puck for the Pats now. Wanted to get it out. Puck got trapped in the skates of Kane and Drummond. Now Kane and Rondo along the side boards. Another Bronco in there. That was Varlamov trying to pick it up. Now puck goes behind the net, and Adams, fresh off his conversation with Pete, will get to it and shovel it over to Stewart. Stewart feathers it to the line, and now Holden with a nice little pass to Kane. Kane, cross ice for Serjak. Serjak and Rojeval battle for it there. Rojeval comes away with it, gets it to Varlamov, who quickly got it up to Brett Allen. Allen moves around Adams. Brett Allen with the shot, score! Brett Allen looked like he was going to fake the shot on Jared Adams. Jared tensed up. Allen said, "Thank you very much," went around him, and then put the puck between Ryan Hoople's legs, and the Broncos are on the board first.
Now, we talked about it. The second period's the Bronco period. We'll get a look here. Allen just with that quick little move steps inside on Jared Adams, and maybe didn't quite have everything all together after jumping off that couch with Pete and rushing out and having to play right off the bat. Allen gets it by him. Ryan Hoople unable to come up with the save as he just chips it down underneath him, and the Broncos get that all-important first goal here. I thought Allen Morton hockey game.
I thought Allen was going to sort of take the shot there, but you're right. He just sort of did dip the shoulder, and I thought he was dipping the shoulder to fake the shot.
Yeah, cut her back inside. That was all she wrote.
His 16th of the season, scored by number 27, Brett Allen. Assist number 29, Sergei Varlamov, and number 5, Mikhail Rosenball. The point from Varlamov and Rosenball, time of the goal, 1 minute and 20 seconds.
The goal again, it is Brett Allen. For him, his 16th of the season from Varlamov and Rojeval. Time of the goal, 1 minute and 20 seconds.
Well, Drew Keller a little slow to get up, the big defenseman, number 3 for the Pats as he drifts out. He had his skates just knocked out from underneath him as he went back there to try to pick up that puck in behind the Regina Pat net. Went very awkwardly into the boards and appears to have winded himself at least. Manages to get to the bench under his own steam, however. And you can see the intensity. The Broncos pick her up in the second period, starting to take it to the Pats a little bit.
Fight for it off the draw. Twardek being watched by Lanigan. Twardek finds some open ice. Wondering what to do with it. He'll drop it from Mohagan. Mohagan centered it out front. It was in the skates of Schaefer. He couldn't get his stick on it. It was dumped down the ice, and Nicolat will touch it, and so we will have an icing on the play.
Grant, put a camera on Atina Ford. She's right below the capital sign on Pat Simon.
So the face-off deep in the Regina, or in the Swift Current zone, pardon me.
Well, the Regina zone.
Or the Regina zone, and there you get a look at Atina Ford, who was honored last night, as we talked about a few moments ago. Of course, she is the 5th on the Sandra Schmerler rink.
And her mother there with her as well. Anita Ford, the coach.
Of course, the last time Atina was probably in the Dome was cheering on Sandra and crew at the Scott Terminal Hearts. And what an event that was. Congratulations to everybody associated with that outstanding event that just wrapped up here earlier this month. Now this is Sir Jack and Kane fighting for it right by the penalty box. And just as the puck gets free, it gets whistled dead. And as Brad Meyer skates over, we're going to have a penalty on the Broncos, and it is going to go to Chad Beagle.
He's going to get a charging call, and I'm not sure where that one came from.
No, I'm not sure where that one came from either.
Boy, they've had
They were just sort of fighting for the puck, and the next thing you know,
yeah, it's been a relatively tame game, too. There was a little bit of action in the first period with a few scrums and a little bit of rigmarole, but there hasn't been a lot of that rigmarole going on here tonight, so Todd McClellan's a little upset, and maybe rightfully so.
Maybe.
Just seen his team take that 1-0 lead and promptly goes down a man. Pat's on the power play.
Brad Stewart with the puck. Stewart flips it into the Broncos zone. That's Sergek to Kane. Quick shot there by Boyd Kane as he redirects the centering pass from Sergek. Friesen kicks the leg out, and the puck dumped down into the Pat zone.
Well, that's the trouble. He got everything low on Friesen so far. Nothing's been upstairs.
Fight for it now in the center ice zone, and now here comes Varlamov. Varlamov in on Yakishin, takes the shot. That went wide. Puck bounces out over the Regina line. Kane and Reach struggle for it. Nobody picked up the puck, and picking it up is Varlamov as Kane and Reach have words by the penalty box. Now the puck dumped down onto Hoopla, and now this is Brad Stewart with it. Stewart up to Boyd Kane. Kane, 45 goals on the season. He's looking for 50. A big weekend would do it for him. And the Pats would like to see him get 46 here in the next couple minutes. Serjak, as Kane goes to the front of the net, Serjak overskates the puck, and then it is dumped down the ice, and Hoopel will leave it for Stewart. This Pats power play, as you said, Paul, in the first period, has looked very anemic this evening. Stewart for Petrovicki, leaves it for Yakishin. Yakishin dumps it right on Friesen, and Friesen says, I'll dump it out, but no you won't. Now they're going to say that the puck was knocked down by a high stick, so we'll have a face-off outside the zone with 33 seconds to go in the minor penalty to Chad Beagle.
Well, the Pats are trying that dump in, but they're not hitting the blue line with any speed. When the defenseman brings it up like that and has an opportunity to fire it in and ring it around the boards, you better have your forwards going full blast. Pick up that puck on the far side of the ice and see if you can get possession in the opposition end and set something up, see if they can work it around. But thus far, the Pats have been unable to gain possession in that Bronco end, and as a result, haven't generated any scoring chances on the power play.
Twardick to take the draw against Lysak. Lysak will be kicked out of the circle. Fedoruk will take his spot. Fedoruk wins the draw, and Harlan Pratt will pick it up for the Pats behind his own net. Here comes Harlan Pratt. Pratt to center. Loses it, and Twardick gets it and banks it off the boards to Varlamov. Varlamov takes the quick shot on Hoopel. No problems for Ryan now, and he steers it aside easily. Now Adams just about lost it to Varlamov. And now here comes the Pat captain, Jared Adams, to the Bronco line. Wanted to get it out to Petrovicki on the right side. Pass was too far for him. Friesen steered it into the corner. And now here come the Broncos again. They're back at full strength, and this is Beagle trying to get around Adams. Adams gives him a whack on the wrist, and just after the Broncos kill a penalty, they'll now go on the power play as Jared Adams will sit down. 2 minutes for slashing.
Yeah, there wasn't much doubt about that one. Beagle looked like he was going to maybe get by as he stepped out of the box. The puck was just chipped ahead a little bit, and think Jared Adams maybe thought this guy was going to get around him, and so he decided to give him a good hard whack to knock that puck off his stick, and Meyer obviously not having any of that. Sends Jared Adams to the penalty box for 2 minutes.
Jared's having a tough start to the second period.
Second period.
I'm wondering just what Pasco told him before
we're not letting him talk to Pete anymore.
No, I'll say not. Pete probably told him not to work so hard, because that's the way Pete does things, you know. At least that's what I've been told.
4 minutes and 35 seconds.
Now the pass goes to Nicolat. Nicolat up to Jeremy Reach, who brings it into the zone. He tried to drop it back. Now Nicolat has it at the line. Nicolat takes the shot. That got through to Hoople, and they score! I thought Hoople had corralled it, but Jeremy Reach found a way to get it through Hoople, and the Broncos have scored on the power play, and it is now 2-0 Swift Current.
Yeah, we finally see a power play click to life here as the Broncos, again, we mentioned 24.3% coming into the hockey game. They've had a couple of anemic-looking power plays themselves, but this time the Craik native, Jeremy Reach, in front of that net. Hoople did come up with that initial save. You'll see the puck just laying there. Looked like he had it frozen under his pad, but the Broncos kept banging away. Pat defenseman unable to clear that area in front of Ryan Hoople.
You know, I think Brad Stewart may have thought that Hoople had it corralled as well, because he didn't really give up on it, but he just sort of to ease up just a little bit as Reach managed to chop it through.
15, Jeremy Reach.
Fishing for the puck, not taking the man. That's what he's got to do. Very important down there.
That's Reach from Nicolat, a power play goal at 5 minutes and 1 second.
So it is Reach from Nicolat on the power play at 5:01 for Jeremy. That's his 31st of the season, his 62nd point. And now the Pats find themselves behind the 8 ball.
Yeah, well, we talked about it. The second period belongs to the Swift Current Broncos. They've dominated their opposition all year long in the second period. It's like Todd McClellan gets away to chance to figure things out in the first period, talks to his players after that. They come out and they take full advantage of it here early in this second period, coming up with a couple of very quick goals here. 14:27 to play in the second period. Now they've opened up that 2-0 lead and certainly working their way closer to that first place finish.
Yeah, once again, if you're just joining us, a win by the Broncos tonight, and they will finish in first place in the East. A win by the Pats will make things very, very interesting going into this last weekend of play. Broncos finish off their regular season tomorrow night against Brandon. The Pats will be in Moose Jaw tomorrow night. The Warriors come here Sunday. And then I believe it's Thursday night is game 1 of the playoffs, Thursday and Friday night, against an opponent, TBA.
To be named later, you got it.
Yep. Tell you what, if it's Moose Jaw, it's going to basically be a best of 9 with the way the weekend's going here and the schedule's finishing off. Think the old Trans Canada will be busy?
Well, I'll tell you one thing, the Pats are going to have to turn up the heat a little bit here if they want that to happen. They're going to have to finish in first. Looks like Moose Jaw is going to be 8th, so
they're going to have to keep the gas station and the coffee shop in Belle Plaine open. All the people going to and fro. Kerwin with the puck now in his own zone. Of course, there's a chance the Warriors could end up going to Swift Current yet if the Pats can finish first and the Broncos finish second. Or I guess if Swift Current finishes first and the Pats finish second, excuse me. So Moose Jaw fans are going to be making short drives either which way when the playoffs start. Puck dumped in on Hoople. He steers it aside for Kavanaugh. Kavanaugh wanted to get it to Holden. That didn't work. Then Holden following up on the play. Dumps it into the Swift Current zone. Friesen leaves it there for Henkelman. Jeff Henkelman, the 20-year-old captain of the Broncos, up to Varlamov. Varlamov, who is property of the Calgary Flames, just gets it out. And now Drummond to Kerwin. Kerwin took the shot. That was nowhere near the net. Now Holden and Allen fight for it. Joining in there is Jeremy Rondo. He poked it away, but Brad Stewart picks it up for the Pats, and they will bring it out as this is Boyd Kane. Kane by the Pat bench, by the line. Boyd Kane trying to move around Varlamov. Varlamov whacks it away from him. Varlamov tried to get it out, fanned on that clearing attempt, and then on the second attempt, gets it out. Adams will pick it up, and as he touches the puck, icing is called. And I'll tell you what, Paul, I would think the Calgary Flames are going to be pretty happy maybe with their future. You got Sergei Varlamov on the ice here, Ronald Petrovich,
signed as a free agent
property.
too, Varlamov.
Derek Morris. They've got three guys that could really be building blocks of some great things in the future. And boy, do I hate to say that, saying I'm an Edmonton Oilers fan, and you know what, Paul? I can say I'm an Edmonton Oilers fan, not a Houston Oilers fan, because that's maybe the biggest news of the day, is the fact that the local investors have come through in Edmonton, and NHL hockey is staying in the Alberta capital for a while yet.
Well, they got the fans stirred up here at the Agrodome, obviously trying to give the Pats a little bit of a helping hand here, asking for a little bit of noise. They started to get it. We'll see if the Pat Hockey Club responds. Good forechecking going on right now.
What'd you say? I'll tell you what, it's getting loud in here, folks, and the offside zone. We're going to fight. It's Jackman and Mohagan. Barrett Jackman and Tony Mohagan, who got in it behind the play. Mohagan's got the one-arm free. Now Jackman got one in, but it would be good for Barrett if Mohagan could get the helmet off. They're just dancing right now, and now the two go down to the
I'll tell you
ice.
what, that's the heavyweight for the Swift Current Broncos, Mohagan, and that's a 16-year-old Barrett Jackman. So you see what he's prepared to do for his team. That's the guy that Kyle Frederick should be taking on. We'll see if maybe Mohagan comes back and Freddie tries to even that score a bit, but the 16-year-old acquits himself quite well. Not afraid of anybody. He'll take them all on.
You know, I have said this numerous times on our broadcast this year. The scouting staff for the Pats have done a great job when it comes to defensemen. Derek Morris, Brad Stewart, Barrett Jackman. I know that Derek Morris has done great things in his first year with the Flames. I know that Brad Stewart will do great things no matter where he ends up. And Barrett Jackman could be better than those two guys.
Well, he's going to be a very high pick himself. There's no question about that. 16-year-old playing a regular shift, has absolutely fought everybody in this league, the heavyweights on all the teams. He's not afraid of anything out there, a real gifted hockey player as well. You're going to see some tremendous things from Barrett Jackman on into the future here, and hopefully it'll be for another 3 or 4 years. Fans continue to make a racket here at the Agrodome, trying to pour their fans or their team on.
Yakishin with her. Up to Maruka. I'll tell you what, this place is going to go nuts. The Pats are on the red light. Maruka trying to squeeze by Roosevelt. Can't do it. Lysak following up. Kerwin's got him tied up. Now Lysak finds some open ice. Lysak being watched by Kerwin. Maruka has it now. He's knocked into the corner by Roosevelt. Great job here by Lysak and Maruka. Lysak and Maruka continue to dig. Look at this effort by Maruka and Lysak, folks. Just enjoy it. They continue to dig. Lysak had Petrovicki out front, couldn't get it to him. Now the puck comes out front, and the Broncos are going to come away with it. I'll tell you what a job by Lysak and Maruka behind the net. And then the play is whistled down for icing.
Yeah, that's a big effort by those two forwards down there, just battling away. See Brett Lysak there, obviously very spent after that effort, just trying to create that scoring opportunity. He and David Maruka working good low down on the boards. Ronald Petrovicki out in that slot area, just cruising around, hoping that puck comes free. But that's a big effort by Brett Lysak, another young hockey player for the Regina Pats. See if they can pop one behind Friesen here.
Here comes Stewart. Stewart cuts into the... Wanted to cut into the slot and take the shot. Did get one away. Went wide. Henkelman wants to get it out. Stewart will keep it in. Stewart wanted to get a shot on goal. Couldn't do so. Holden took a whack at it. Then Stewart with a shot. That went off a stick and went wide. Kane in the corner. Has Serjak all alone out front if he could have gotten it to him. Couldn't do so though. Now Serjak in the corner. Now Kane has it. Kane centers it out front for Holden. That puck was knocked back in the corner as the fans continue to egg their team on. Just listen to them. This is Stewart. Takes the shot. Rebound. It's right there. Holden can't get a good shot at Friesen. Lost control of it for a second, then managed to get it back. And now we're going to have some more activity as Kane tried to beat Friesen to the puck.
after Friesen had problems controlling it there behind his net. And we may have a penalty to the Broncos here, the way that referee Brad Meyer is signaling towards the box. And yes, indeed, it looks like Jeremy Rondo is going to go to the bench as you get a look at the replay there. And Boyd Kane was looking to capitalize on a mistake by Terry Friesen.
You'll see that quick shot by Brad Stewart just gets in. Friesen comes up with a stop, tries to corral that rebound, is unable to as Kane drifts by. Again, we'll get a look at it here. Stewart trying to get that puck up in the air. Everything low though into Friesen's pads as he goes down and finally comes up with that rebound and corrals it. But a big opportunity here for the Regina Pats now as they go on the power play for the next 2 minutes. Fans have been responsible for this resurgence in the Pats, just imploring them to put out that big effort. The players have responded, and Perry Shockey's got to be happy with that.
Stewart, that's on the power play. Stewart winds up, takes the shot. That one got by Friesen, but went wide. Holden got a stick on it. Stewart again with a shot. Holden got a stick on that again, but it didn't get near the net. Nicolat tries to clear it out. Kane will keep it in. Boyd Kane down to Holden and Surjak. Surjak with a shot. It went over the net. They poke away. Comes to Stewart. Stewart, Kane, scores! Boyd Kane has put the Pats on the board, and it's 2-1. Number 46 for the product of St. Albert. And is that a huge goal, Paul?
Yeah, you want to believe it's a big one. We talked about the second period belonging to the Swift Current Broncos. But I'll tell you what, the people that are responsible for this are the Regina Pat fans. Brad Stewart with that big pass made it look like he was going to wind up and take that shot. We'll see the puck come back here to Brad Stewart at the point. Winds up as if he's going to fire it. Perfect pass over to Boyd Kane over on that far side of the ice. He tips it in behind Friesen, and the Pats are on the board, trailing the Broncos now by only 1 goal. Broncos 2, the Pats 1.
Is that a reason why Brad Stewart's going to be a first rounder? What a pass!
Scored by number 18, Boyd Kane. Assist number 7, Brad Stewart. And number 28, John Surjak.
Boyd Kane is 46th from Stewart and Surjak on the power play at 10:01, and it is now 2-1. That's 1 shot away from tying this puppy up. Adams to Petrovicki. Petrovicki rubbed out by Twardek. Puck goes behind the net. Adams leaves it for Keller, who quickly gets it to Maruka. Maruka knocked off the puck by Nicolat. He tried to flip it high along the end boards, but instead flipped it into the corner seats. So we will have a face-off here. That goal again, Boyd Kane is 46th from Stewart and Surjak at 10:01. Let me apologize to all you Boyd Kane fans out there. He's from Tabor, not St. Albert.
Right.
As I said, it's Lysac that's from St. Albert.
Tabor, Alberta, no doubt about it. And I'll tell you what, has he been having a pleasant season for the Regina Pats this year. He's the kind of player I think that everybody knew was going to have a great season. He came into last year, he had 25 goals and 50 assists for 75 points. So he's 21 goals better than he was last year. That's a significant improvement for a very good hockey player, Boyd Kane.
Puck right down below us. That's Lysac dumping it into the Swift Current zone. Petrovicki and one of the Broncos, it was Tyler Murray, went crashing into the post, and then we're going to get a penalty charged here to the Broncos. Is it going to go against Tyler Murray for...
You betcha, interference, yep. It was called over on that far side. Brad Meyer watching that all the way. He's actually going to call it hooking. Could have been interference, obviously, as Petrovicki didn't have the puck, and Pats wisely held up over at their own bench. It looked like there was going to be a little bit of a retaliation, but I'll tell you what, I can't say enough about the fans here. I think they sensed that the Pats were maybe reeling a little bit. Yep. Swift Current getting those goals. They started making that noise, and did that lift the team or what? They've come back. They've got 1 on the power play. Got another opportunity here, trailing the Broncos by 1 goal.
Surjak, Kane, Holden, Yakishin, and Stewart out there trying to even it up. 8:56 to go in this second period of play. Dreams of first place on the line for the Pats They need a win tonight. A Bronco win and they will finish first. A Pat win. Tell you what, a Pat win or loss is going to be an interesting weekend with those back-to-back games against the Warriors. Surjak to Yakush. To Surjak! Shot! Freezing! Got the stick on that as Surjak found himself alone in the slot. Yakush wanted to get it to Surjak. Puck goes over the boards, and we will have a face-off as it went off of Bronco sticks. We'll have a face-off
Surjak
in the Swift Current zone as you get a look at John Surjak.
With a glorious scoring opportunity there, and he's certainly been an important cog on this Regina Pat power play. Very good puck handler. He's also chipped in with 40 goals coming into this hockey game, so he's been a real leader and a very sportsman-like player. Doesn't take many penalties, only got 50 minutes during the course of the year, but he's a real important part of that Pat power play, a real quarterback down low for them.
Yakishin to Stewart as the Pats win the draw. Stewart looking for something to do with it now. Stewart to Yakishin. Yakishin takes the shot. Where is it? It was right by Surjak and then got shoveled away from it the last second. Stewart hammered Varlamov into the boards. Now Stewart has it again for the Pats, being watched by Reach. Surjak will dump it in to the Swift Current zone. Kane has it now. Boyd Kane wanted to get it to Stewart. That went off a stick. Broncos get to it, dump it down the ice, and they will go to the bench for a change. Holden couldn't control the pass. Surjak and Roosevelt both sort of watched it go. I think Surjak thought it was going to be offside. Roosevelt thought it was going to be icing. Nothing's called, and then the puck gets fired right into the penalty box, and the off-ice officials had to keep their head up there, Paul.
I'll tell you what, there's not much hair on those heads down there, and they were ducking like crazy. That puck just skimming over top of them. But you're right, yeah, Surjak would have been offside, and Roosevelt thought it would be icing, but because the puck was trickling so slowly down the ice, it was waved off, and he was forced to play it. The Pats are going to come up with the face-off just to the right of Terry Friesen.
Petrovitsky lost control of it, and that was bad news for the Pats as Brent Twardick was right there to dump it down the ice with 50 seconds to go, and the penalty to Tyler Murray. Stewart. Yakishin with it now. Yakishin dumps it in. Maruka chasing it. Now Petro has it. Yakishin whacks away at it, keeps it in. Petrovitsky tried to get it to Maruka, couldn't do so. Twardick bounces it off the boards and out into the center ice area where Stewart has it. Stewart. Now this is Petrovitsky. Ronald Petrovitsky takes the shot and Friesen snags it with the glove and hangs on for the face-off as the third-round pick of the San Jose Sharks decides we'll take a little break.
Well, I'll tell you what, I don't think he got all of that. Ronald Petrovicky's got a much harder shot than that. Really took a look that time, tried to find the spot that he wanted to put it in. The leading goal scorer for the Regina Pats, number 29, Ronald Petrovitsky. And we talked about him coming into the game with 62 goals tonight, and the Pats would certainly like to see that go up to number 63 on that particular shot.
18 seconds to go in the power play. Pucks and a few skates. Now the Broncos come away with it. It's Nicolat. Nicolat has Kerwin with him. Nicolat's going to try and go around Pratt. Decided when he got to the line just to dump it in. Thought about going to the bench for a change, and then Todd McClellan told him to stay out there. Now Lysak, the long pass for Petrovitsky. That doesn't click. Friesen steers it into the corner. And you know what, Paul? Terry Friesen just made a boo-boo. He wanted to dump it off the boards. He put it a little too high, knocked it over the glass, and you see Terry Friesen, he knows he's just made a mistake because he's going to get the 2-minute delay of game penalty. It's a penalty I don't like, but it's a penalty that is in the rule book, and you have got to call it.
Yeah, it's not even one of those ones where you can use any discretion. It's the kind of a thing, the goaltender fires it over. It's an automatic, and Terry Friesen knew immediately when he shot that puck. He tried to get it high in the glass, seemed to stick on the end of his stick a little bit, and as a result of that, flipped up over top of the glass. No Pats around him, so he couldn't even plead his case that it was deflected over. And as a result of that, he knew he hung his head immediately. He knew that he put his team down again. The Pats on another man advantage, another big opportunity.
So an unfortunate break for the Broncos, and the Pats hope to capitalize on that break as Terry Friesen called 2 minutes for delay of game.
For delay of game. That's Friesen, 2 minutes for delay of game.
Yakishin to Surjak. Stewart picks it up. Stewart speeding into the Broncos zone, gives it to Holden. Holden will chase it down on the right wing side. Now Kane and Holden after it. Holden in the corner, knocked down by Henkelman. Fans want a penalty on Henkelman, none forthcoming. Now they fight for it there, right near the Pats bench. We will have a face-off as the team's tied up along the side boards. Of course, once again, the Pats will finish off the regular season at home here on Sunday night against the Moose Jaw Warriors. Monday night, the year-end awards banquet. That's going over at Queensbury. Tickets, you got to get them from the Pats office or here at the game Sunday night, as they're not going to be sold at the door. I believe tickets for that are $25. Phone the Pats office. They'll give you more information on that.
Yeah, and that Sunday night game's going to be fan appreciation night too, so you want to be here.
Here comes Stewart. Stewart looking to pass to somebody, has Holden there. Brad Stewart all day with it, then took the wrist shot, and it went off a body as Stewart really just couldn't find an open avenue for which to get a decent shot on Friesen. Yakishin to Stewart. Stewart wanted to get it to Kane. Kane wasn't looking for the pass. Broncos get it and just hammer it back out to center. Minute to go in the penalty to Friesen as Surjak lost control of it. Henkelman dumps it down the ice for the Broncos. Hoople thought about going out to play it and then leaves it for Brad Stewart. Now this is Holden. Josh Holden, the property of the Vancouver Canucks, wanted to fire it cross ice for Surjak. Stewart manages to keep it in. That's Maruka with it now. Back to Stewart, to Maruka at the left point. Maruka, Yakishin with a shot. Rebound! It's loose out in front of the net. Stewart wanted to keep it in and then couldn't do so as the puck goes out to the center ice zone. 27 seconds to go in the penalty to Friesen. Holden to Petrovitsky, takes the shot. Friesen got a shoulder on that. He didn't know where the rebound went though. Now here comes Petro again, tried to get out front with it. Lost control at the very end. Pratt to Petrovitsky. Petrovitsky to Adams. Adams to Pratt. Pratt takes the shot. Petrovitsky got a stick on it, but he couldn't get it towards the net. Pratt up to Maruka. Maruka ridden into the sideboards by Rojeval. Now Lysak to Petrovitsky in the corner. Maruka following up on it. Maruka has Lysak out front if he can get it to him. Adams also pinching in. Maruka, I think, tried to knock it off the pad of Friesen. Now Maruka with the wraparound takes the shot. Friesen goes to his knees to stop that, and he'll hang on for the face-off. Tell you what, Paul, this last 7 or 8 minutes has all been Pats.
Yeah, you got that right after that very shaky start to that second period. And, you know, I'll tell you what, it's almost like clockwork. You can look at some of these statistics. You see what is going to happen. You knew the Broncos were going to come out hard at the start of the second period, but I'll tell you what, the Pats have responded. And, again, I cannot mention enough the fact that it seemed to be the fans that ignited the Regina Pats in that second period. They knew they were on the ropes. They got into it. We'll get a little look here at that last shot. Petrovitsky got more into that one that time. Friesen just able to get his shoulder on it and comes up with the big save.
Puck gets chopped into the Bronco bench. And Todd McClellan flips it up to a fan. Thank you very much, the fan says. I still want your team to lose, the fan also says, but thanks a lot for the puck. As you see a young fan bringing some corn for his little brother.
Holding his ears because there's too much noise. Now they know they're on TV. Hopping at it. Broadview Minor Hockey. Well, isn't that good? All the way in from Broadview.
You got it. As we rejoin play, Jared Adams has it at the Regina line. Wanted to get it up to Holden, but the pass was intercepted by the Broncos, and now it's back in the Regina zone, and that's Brad Stewart with it. Stewart up to Kane. He has the Regina goal tonight. Kane leaves it for Lanigan. Lanigan to Holden. Holden couldn't control the puck. I don't really think he was expecting the pass, and back come the Broncos. Rondo for Varlamov. Offside, says Jason Mercer. So we will have a face-off just outside the Regina zone. 3:50 to go in the second period of play. In case you're just joining us, I'm Mitchell Blair along with Paul Barnby, and this is Western Hockey League action live from the Dome. The Pats and the Broncos, our last scheduled telecast of the year. We're hoping maybe, just maybe, we can twist the Parkers' arms enough to let us do a playoff game, but of course that depends on how the Pats do and how busy this building gets throughout the playoff run.
Yeah, got to fill her up for sure. I don't think there's any doubt if it's full tonight, it's going to be full in the playoffs.
I say our next game, Paul, is the Western Hockey League final against the Portland Winterhawks. Game, let's say, 6, when the Scotty Monroe Trophy will be handed out to the Pats at the end of the contest. How does that sound?
Well, I'll tell you what, that's a bold prediction, but very nice if it comes true.
Kulak fighting with Holden behind the net. Now he action with the shot. Rebound. Surjak just missed it. Rebound. Friesen came scrambling out of nowhere to make the save off of Holden. And Paul Barnaby's going, you got to put it upstairs.
You got to put it upstairs is right on Terry Friesen. He's flopping around like crazy on the ice right now, and the Pats cannot get the puck up in the air. I'll tell you what, if they roof that baby, then Friesen knows. He knows he's in trouble down there, flopping around like a fish and doing a little crying and whining. You can see him down there now. Never does get to his feet, slides around the puck, all around that Bronco goal. The Pats just
Terry
can't come
Friesen
up
did
with
more
it.
flipping and flopping than I do in bed trying to get comfortable at night.
Yeah, you got to get that puck upstairs on Friesen. You can see Surjak tried to there, but just
Friesen
didn't
got
bear
the
down
stick
on
on
it.
it.
Yeah.
Well, we hope you're enjoying this one tonight on Channel 7. We know we certainly are, because this is a dandy. 3 minutes to go in this second period. 2-1 Broncos. The Pats are putting the heat on for the equalizer. Here comes Lysak. Had it poked off his stick. Broncos hammer it back into the Pats zone. Doing that was Mohagan. Now Barrett Jackman. Jackman, the native of Fruitvale, BC, sends it into the Broncos zone. Bunch of guys going after it. And first guy to get to it is Petrovicki. Now Lysak in the corner. 3 guys behind the red line. Pats need to get somebody out front. Petro finally gets there. Maruka to Keller. Keller takes the shot. That was tipped on goal by Lysak. Friesen stopped it. Lysak again as Friesen's down. Tried for the old wraparound and couldn't do so. Now Petrovicki with a shot. Where is it? It's in the corner. Jackman being watched by a couple Broncos. Goes in behind the net. Petrovicki tried to get to it. Was beaten by Schaefer to the puck. Then it is dumped down the ice. And as Jackman touches it, icing again is called on the Swift Current Broncos. They've been guilty of that a few times in this past couple of minutes, Paul.
Now we'll take this moment to again thank our sponsors for helping us out with this telecast, A&J Display and Western Pizza. Certainly very happy that they were along so we can bring you pictures of Perry Shockey. Not sure what that look is. Is that consternation? There's a little satisfaction knowing that his team is really outplaying the Broncos here in what normally is their best period, certainly from the second half of that period on anyway, but they are trailing by 1 goal.
That is Nicolat with the puck, dumping it down into the Pats zone. And you know what, Paul? Once again, we've got icing charged against the Swift Current Broncos.
You know
Are they just sort of in a prevent defense mode here, trying to get out of the second period alive?
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Right now they know that the Pats are coming on. They're coming on really strong, and again ignited by that fan response when the Pats got down by 2, and you can see that wrap around here. And Swift Current Bronco players are flopping around, falling down. Good play by Lysak, chips it to Maruka. Petrovicki takes that quick shot. Friesen deflects it high over the net.
Puck dumped down the ice again. Adams gets to it, and he'll go behind his own net. Jared Adams now leaves it for Stewart. He's going to be watched by Rondo. Stewart bumped hard into the boards by Rondo. Puck goes out to the center ice zone. Varlamov gets it to Roosevelt. Roosevelt dumps it right down onto Hupel. And now Stewart gets it to Adams, who quickly got it over to Harlan Pratt. 3 defensemen on the ice for the Pats right now. Now Fedoruk just scoops it out into the center ice zone, and that's where Tyler Murray has it. Murray had the pass in the neutral zone intercepted by Lanigan, but he couldn't do anything with it because Harlan Pratt, who was in forechecking, would have been way offside. And speaking of offside, that's what Sergei Varlamov is. As Jeremy Rondo passed him the puck, Varlamov showed a little bit of disgust to the linesman, but really he had nothing to complain about as he was clearly offside on the play.
I'll tell you what, Sergei Varlamov doesn't spend a lot of time in his own end helping to get the puck out. He is out around center ice and up around the opponent's blue line and trying to get in behind guys. He's obviously an offensive player. doesn't work real hard in his own end. That'll be something that they'll work on in the NHL for sure, because you can't only play one way in hockey.
You quickly got a shot of one of the many volunteers helping bring this game to you tonight. And of course, we thank the efforts of all the volunteers who do a tremendous job night after night on all the Channel 7 sports broadcasts. Puck goes into the crowd there, and that made a few people dance as the puck went into the crowd. And doesn't look to be any damage done down there. And
flipped over to one of the young
fans. Got the puck.
I think he got it from one of the older fans. Caught it, flipped it over to him, said, "Here, you have it, son." It almost took your head off. And big important face-off coming up here now.
What is that?
End. It's Pete Pascal. Oh no, he's down and getting ready for the intermission.
What is that? Where is that kid? What the heck was that? Brian Maxwell puppet? Josh Holden with it. Here comes Holden streaking down the left side. Holden, shot! And Friesen got the pad on it as Jeff Kerwin was tying up Holden as he wanted to get a better shot away than what he did. Again, Paul, you got to put it upstairs. Serjak down low to Holden. Now Kane. Kane with the shot. That one hit the side of the net. Kane tried to center it, went off the side of the net again. And now Serjak and Kerwin fight for it. Now Yakishin with a weak shot, and that gets nowhere near the net, and Jeremy Reach is just going to get to it and clear it out, and as he does so, the second period is going to come to an end. So our score after 40 minutes of play, the Swift Current Broncos 2 and the Pats 1 in what was a pretty good period of hockey for the Pats, especially the last half of the period when they really got things going. As you said, they were really spurred on by the fans, and then Boyd Kane came through with the big power play goal to reduce the deficit to 1. Still some work to go for the Pats, but if the end of the second period is any indication, should be a pretty good third period for them.
Well, that's right. We've got shots on the board now, 23 for the Regina Pats to 15, and they were 11-6 for the Broncos coming into that period. So you can see that the Pats really turned this thing around. The Broncos do have that 2-1 lead, got those 2 quicker goals at the start of that second period, but again, the fans seem to ignite the Pats, started to play with a little desperation, really putting an effort into it, and as a result of that, they've scrambled back into this thing. It's a long way from being over, but you got to like their chances. Third period is the Pats period, second one is the Broncos.
Second period, Pete Pascal will talk to Sergei Varlamov, and I'll have a chat with Todd McClellan. You'll catch that in a minute. You're watching Pats Hockey on Regina Television, Channel 7.
Regina Pats Hockey on Cable Regina is sponsored in part by Western Pizza. Visit our newest location downtown at Victoria and Broad and try the Western way today.
Heidi ho, boys and girls. We're getting ready for the third period here as the Pats look to even this thing up with the Broncos. 2-1 Swift Current after 40 minutes of play, and as we take a look at the second period scoring summary, it was Brett Allen, his 16th of the year from Varlamov and Roosevelt at 120. Then it was Jeremy Reach in the power play at 5:01 from Nicolat. And then Boyd Kane, his 46th of the season. What a big goal it was from Stewart and Serjak. That coming at 10:01. Shots on goal indicate the play in that second period. 17-4 for the Pats. They have now outshot the Broncos 23-15 tonight.
Well, we got to see if they can maintain that same pressure on goaltender Terry Friesen of the Swift Current Broncos. They had some good intensity during the second half of that second period. Got to carry it into the third and get the equalizer.
All right, we are underway here in the third period. Kerwin and Kavanaugh fighting for it. Puck comes to Yakishin behind the net. Yakishin got it up to Maruka. Maruka was hit on the play, and the puck ended up back in the Regina zone. That's Kerwin deep in there now. Kavanaugh rubs him off the puck, and now Yakishin will come away with it. Up to Kavanaugh, who gives it to Maruka. David Maruka down the left wing. Maruka wants to get to Petrovitsky, but the pass for Petro was intercepted by Friesen. Petrovitsky then went crashing into the net, courtesy of Jeff Enkelman.
Yeah, gave him a little shot as he went through that crease and got him off his skates. Petrovitsky managed to just sort of turn his body a little bit sideways so he didn't run directly into that crossbar. Still managed to knock the net off.
So we'll have a face-off. As you get a look at Petrovitsky heading to the bench. No worse for wear. Face off to the right
goal
of
man,
Terry
and
Friesen. Yep.
One to see if he can get on that ice and maybe get another one.
That's Serjak fighting for it. Now Kane with it. Kane had Holden out front, couldn't get it to him. Varlamov tried to get it out, couldn't do so. Then Henkelman and his man just about collided, and the puck finally does come out as Jared Adams quickly gives it to Stewart, who gets it up to Kane. Kane wanted to get it up to Holden. That went off the skate of Drummond. Bounced back towards the boards. And now there's just a scrum for it along the sideboards, and we will have a stoppage. So, you know, Paul, people are saying Eastern Conference Final, Pats Broncos. Do you agree?
I don't know. I mean, it's, you know what? It's so far away. I can't honestly tell you. There's so many good teams there. I mean, the Pats have had trouble with the Red Deer Rebels. They may play them in the first round. They've had trouble with them all year long. Brandon's had trouble with Calgary. They might meet up at some point in time. Swift's had trouble with Calgary as well. I mean, anything can happen here. And Moose Jaw's is a playoff team.
You know, Todd McClellan picked up on something interesting here as we watch Tony Mohagan take the shot, and Hoople makes the save as he goes to his knees to stop it. The Broncos and the Warriors haven't played each other since November. It was just a freak in the schedule. They got all their games done early. The Warriors are quite a different team now than when the Broncos last saw them. When you haven't played a team in that many months, it could backfire on you. You might not know how to play them anymore.
Listen, they're a different team, but do you remember Moose Jaw last year?
Yes.
They knocked off.
Yeah, but I don't think they're as good a team though.
No,
last year
they're probably not. But I think the point I'm trying to make here is that they play better in the playoffs than they do in the regular season, regardless of who's on their team.
And you know, if Donovan Nunweiler gets hot, he can steal the series for you.
You look out.
And the Pats, the Wheat Kings, the Broncos, anybody should be aware of that. Drew Keller had some problems with it as he went to his knees before finally getting out of the Pats zone. Now Mohagan with a spirited Duke session with Barrett Jackman in the second period. Now Jackman gets it up to Fedoruk. Fedoruk to Lanigan. Lanigan takes the shot. That goes nowhere near the net as Schaefer got his stick on it. Frederick following up on the play, gets it down low to Fedoruk. Frederick went to the ice. I believe Frederick has been hurt. He may have gotten a stick by Serdachny on the play as we get a look at the big guy from Killam, Alberta.
I'm wondering if maybe he went down a little bit awkwardly on his back there. Seemed to get hooked up and fell awkwardly back on his tailbone. I'm not quite sure what's wrong with him now. Shad Ricky's out there, and Kyle Frederick takes a menacing look over at Brad Meyer, wondering why.
You caught that, did you?
6'6", 240 pounds. I'll tell you what, he gets his share of cheap ones, and here he takes one, goes down hard in the ice, and no call from Meyer. And Kyle Frederick wanted to make sure that he left an impression that maybe that should have been a penalty call on the play.
Brett Lysak to take the draw against Chad Bean. And now this is Henkelman with it. Pardon me, it's Rosenball. Rosenball tried to step around Yakishin, couldn't do so. And now reach to Hulak. Hulak dumps it into the Pats zone. Yakishin and Beagle chase it. Beagle's the first guy to get to it. Petrovitsky gave him a ride into the boards. And now Lysak up to Kevin Surratt. I believe this is the first shift of the night for the Pats number 27, Surratt. Nice drop pass for Petrovitsky. Couldn't kick it to his stick though. Yakishin dumps it into the Swift Current zone. 17 and a half minutes to go. Pats trail at 2-1. Kerwin wants to get to Reach, does so. Jeremy Reach takes the shot on goal. Hoople had no problem with that, steers it aside. Then Yakishin with a bad pass. That was aimed for no one. And the Broncos' Jeff Henkelman puts it right back in, giving the Broncos time to get their forecheckers in. Now Holden. Josh Holden with a head of steam. Holden comes on, Henkelman takes the shot. That one low on Friesen. He had to kick the pad out to make the save. Here comes Varlamov, has Brett Allen with him. Varlamov takes the long shot, that one wide. Puck goes all the way out, and that is Varlamov with it again. Varlamov trying to move around, Jared Adams does so. Varlamov, back pass for Allen, wasn't ready for it. Maruka, up to Holden. Here comes Holden, has Pratt with him. Harlan Pratt would have gotten it to Stewart had he gotten control of the puck. He didn't though, and the puck ends up chopped over the bench by Todd McClellan, and we will have a face-off as the Pats looked like they had something going there for a second.
Yeah, it looked like it was going to be a dangerous rush develop, and we saw Josh Holden with one a little bit earlier where turned on that good speed, is able to use that defenseman as a screen, fired a good, hard, quick, but low shot on Terry Friesen again, who goes down. He's got the bottom part of that net covered very well. You got to get the puck upstairs on him.
Nicolat will chase it down in his own zone, being watched by Lanigan. Serjak will also join in on the forecheck. Stewart keeps it into the point. Stewart just flips it towards the corner. Lanigan and Serjak continue to hunt it down. And when the puck gets off, no, I was going to say it got out, but Stewart, nice job to keep it in. Stewart went across the grain there to keep the puck in, and now Adams has it in his own line. Adams off the board. Kane gets it there. Kane gets it to Serjak. Well, that's Lanigan. Lanigan 26, not Serjak, 28. He's on the other wing. Puck now dumped down the ice, and Broncos, to relieve the pressure, are guilty of the icing.
On behalf of the Regina Pats.
Well, that's right. They just seem to be content to play the string out a little bit here. They've almost looked like they've been trying to protect that 2-goal lead from the midpoint of the second period, and thus far have done a pretty good job. While the Pats have definitely carried the play to the Swift Current Broncos here. And I mentioned earlier on how the Pats have their most productive period is in the third period, having put 119 goals in the net. Certainly like to get a couple here in this third period of a very important hockey game.
Petrovitsky fighting for it along the boards. Now Lysak chops it towards Friesen. He decides he will clear it himself. Jackman in his own zone. Barrett Jackman wanted to get it to Maruka. Pass way too high for him, and Roosevelt will get it in his own zone. Roosevelt speeds behind the net, then moves around a couple of guys and gets out to the blue line before dumping it to the center ice zone. Now Maruka wanted to get it to Lysak. That pass was intercepted by the Broncos, and then it quickly goes into the Bronco zone, courtesy of Yakishin. Yakishin has it again now for the Pats. Long pass for Maruka. Maruka has Lysak with him. Maruka being tied up by Roosevelt. Fans wanted a penalty, but none is coming. And Paul, you may think that Brad Meyer may be putting his whistle in the pocket and letting the players determine this third period by themselves without the referee's help. Lanigan gets to the puck first, and then he had it taken away. Then one of the Pats, that was Fedoruk, took a stick. It was accidental in nature as the Bronco defender was clearing it out. Got the stick up, but you know what? Just as I said, Brad Meyer might not call any penalties. He's going to, as he is going to charge Sergei Varlamov with a 2-minute high sticking penalty.
Yeah, that was a little tough to ignore, actually, as Fedoruk was bearing down in behind the net, and that stick gets up as he was going to come up with the puck, and might have developed into a pretty good scoring opportunity for the Regina Pats.
We'll see it again here.
Yeah, you can get a good look at it here. Varlamov just sweeps it behind the net. Fedoruk's got some good position on him. Takes it whack high in the face underneath that visor. He goes down. The puck was rolling in behind the net. If he could have picked it up, he might have had a good scoring opportunity. So here's a big chance for the Regina Pats here. 14:39 to play. They got the man advantage.
Here we go, fans are getting up. Yakishin takes the shot right on Friesen. Kane looking for a rebound. How did Terry Friesen see that with the bodies in front of him?
No, there was a lot of traffic down there, but somehow managed to get his beady little eyes on it. Pulls it in.
I'm sure Mr. and Mrs. Friesen will be happy to hear you say their son has beady little eyes.
Well, beady little eyes like a hawk. He's able to pick that puck up in that maze. That's a compliment to him. A good goaltender, there's no doubt about that.
Yakishin takes the shot. Where is it? It's loose. Rebound comes out to the point to Stewart. Stewart to Serjak. Back to Stewart. Stewart flips it on goal, and that one goes wide. Yakishin with it now. Dmitry Yakishin to Brad Stewart. Stewart takes the shot. Kane tried to get a stick on it. It went wide. Yakishin to Holden, quickly back to Yakishin. To Stewart. Stewart, shot. Score! Brad Stewart ties it at 2.
Well, Brad Stewart comes through for the Regina Pats on the power play with that good, hard shot. And it was a low one, but it got by Terry Friesen for the equalizer. Go back and look at that Leader Post article. Brad Stewart was voted by the opposition players as having the third hardest shot behind Shane Willis and Sergei Varlamov. Doesn't matter though, as he gets the equalizer.
Assist number 19, Dmitry Yakushin. And number 21, Josh Holden.
Here's a breakaway for the Broncos. Beagle comes in, shoots, big save, rebound, c'est la boue! Jeff Kerwin kills some momentum as he comes right down and puts the rebound off the Chad Beagle miss home. And that quiets the fans down a little. It's 3-2.
Oh, that's a big goal for the Swift Current Broncos. And Chad Beagle, I was just looking at, was voted the best body checker in the league by the opposition players, but he gets that quick lead pass, shows some good speed, gets around Clint Kavanaugh, takes that shot. Kerwin following up on the play. Defenseman Jared Adams unable to pick him up, and as a result of that, the Broncos go ahead 3-2.
Nice save by Hooper, but he couldn't control the rebound.
Second of the season, scored by number 26, Jeff Kerwin. Assist number 12, Chad Beagle. And number 15, Jeremy Reach.
The open side.
Kerwin for Beagle in Reach. Time to goal 6 minutes and 28 seconds.
Okay, let's get you caught up, fans. It was Stewart, his 19th, from Yakushin and Holden. That came at 5:53 on the power play. Tied it up, but just 35 seconds later, it's Kerwin with his 32nd from Beagle and Reach at 6:28. So the Pats down by 1 again. It's 3-2.
Well, after that work on that power play and getting themselves back into that tied position, I thought maybe the Pats were pressing a little too much and forgot about that defensive play, and as a result, the Broncos take advantage and recapture that 1-goal lead.
Adams to Holden. Holden just chips it into the Bronco zone. Kane and Serjak are going to chase it down. Henkelman gets to it first. Now this is Rondo. Jeremy Rondo up to Sergei Varlamov. Back to Rondo. 2-on-1 developing. Rondo couldn't get to Brett Allen, and the puck didn't get anywhere near Ryan Hoople. Back come the Pats. It's Stewart. Brad Stewart looking to get it to somebody. Wanted to put it in front of the net and hope that Holden would get a stick on it, but that didn't happen as Friesen got his glove on it and hangs on for the face-off. Got silent here all of a sudden, didn't it?
Oh yeah, that's a big momentum killer, no question about it. You can see the fans are just egging the Pats on. Have been doing that from the middle of the second period. It was such an emotional thing to get that tying goal, to get into that 2-2 tie, and then to have the Broncos come back and get one right away to go up 3-2. We're going to find out a lot about what the Regina Pats are made of here now. They responded to that 2-0 adversity and got the game back tied. We'll see how they respond here. 12:41 to play in this third period. Be looking to guys like Josh Holden to come up with a spirited effort down the stretch here and see if he can get that equalizer for his team.
Fedoruk fighting for it, gets it to Pratt, takes the shot, that one went wide. Friesen tried to grab the rebound, but it's cleared out of harm's way as the Broncos clear it to center. Now Keller lost it to Twardick. Twardick wanted to get it to Mohagan. Mohagan and Jackman are going to meet along the corner boards. Of course, those guys went at it in the second period. Looks like they're going to freeze it for a face-off. Just as I say that, puck comes loose, and now it's underneath the body of Drummond, who made sure that that was going to be whistled dead for a face-off, as he basically just fell on top of the puck, and he gets what he wanted, a face-off deep in the Pats' end.
Mohagan and Jackman having a few words again, so Jackman obviously not intimidated by the big Mohagan, the heavyweight of the Swift Current Broncos, and now Frederick still over on that bench. Obviously would like to have an opportunity maybe to get out there on the same kind of shift that Mohagan is and see if he could maybe settle a couple of scores.
Lysak can reach to take the draw. Now this is Beagle with it. Beagle with the long shot. People stop that and steer to the side. Now Yakushin up to Petrovitsky.
12 minutes to go. Broncos lead it 3-2. Jackman tried to get it out. It was sort of a feeble attempt at doing so. I don't think he had all the stick he wanted on it. And now it is Petrovicki clearing it down the ice, and the rolling puck is going to mean icing. And another face-off deep in the Regina zone. Want to get you caught up on a couple of scores you may have missed around the world of sports today that of interest to one and all. The Manitoba rink, skipped by Dale Duguid, ended Ron Montgomery's fine run at the Brier, beat him 6-3 this afternoon. So Montgomery is done. Duguid takes on the winner of the Ontario-Quebec game tonight. I don't know, can we have a Quebec rink representing Canada with all this flag flap crap that's going on in Ottawa?
They're going to stay in Canada.
Yeah, whatever. And the CIAUs, the Lady Cougars beat Concordia 88-87, so they're in a semifinal tomorrow against either the University of Victoria or the University of Prince Edward Island. Brett Allen with it. Allen rubbed out by Stewart. Stewart and Allen with a vigorous exchange there. Now Holden, and can't catch the Bronco number there. It's Rondo, and he has to go to the bench to get a new helmet. Now Adams to Serjak. Serjak trying to move around Henkelman, can't do so. Nice job with the 20-year-old defenseman to stop the 20-year-old forward from getting around him. Adams tried to keep it in, couldn't do so as Varlamov got it out. And then the puck goes back in, and as it does so, the Pats are going to be called down on the offside. As you get a look at John Serjak, the 20-year-old from Burnaby, who came over, of course, at the start of the year from the Spokane Chiefs for Perry Johnson. And I know John Serjak would love to end his junior hockey career playing back in Spokane at the Memorial Cup final.
40 goals, 51 assists, 91 points. So as good a player as Perry Johnson was, that was an improvement in the offensive category for the Regina Pats.
Nicolat has it behind his own net, being watched by Fedoruk. Nicolat now comes out. Lawrence Nicolat to center ice. Long lead pass for Schaefer. That didn't get to him, and then Hoople makes a save, and now we're going to get a penalty here. And I think it is going to be on the Pat defenseman that knocked Schaefer down well after the puck had passed him. Is it Keller that's going to go? Yep.
Yeah, just gave him a little nudge as he was going by him. Obviously, he was hitting that blue line with some good speed, and the Broncos have done that well tonight. They've hit that Pat blue line with good speed, put tremendous pressure on the Pat defenseman as a result of that, and trying to get the puck out of their own zone. And Keller was forced to just give him a little bit of a nudge there. He went down. He's going to get called probably for interference.
Schaefer looks like he's trying to figure out what happened there.
Well, watch. You'll get a look at it right here.
Now look up at the big screen. You'll see it.
See that little lead pass? It goes by him. Not able to get it. Out comes that leg. Boom. Gets him right on the knee, and down he goes. Takes out Barrett Jackman on the play. So.
Number 3, Drew Keller, 2 minutes for tripping.
Keller, 2 minutes for tripping. Big penalty kill here for the Pats. Rojeval behind his own net. 10.5 minutes to go. Broncos lead it by 1. That's Beagle missing it. Varlamov following up on the play, got to it, but Adams took it away from him. And then, with the help of Boyd Kane, he was sent down the ice. Now Friesen with a pass right to the stick of Boyd Kane. Don't think Terry wanted to do that. And Stewart with a little 9-iron back into the Broncos zone. Henkelman being watched by Serjak, left it for Kurt Drummond. Drummond to center ice, dumps it into the Regina zone. Hoople's going to get to it first. Tries to leave it for Holden. Puck took a funny bounce off the boards. Varlamov has it. Varlamov. Now it's Nicolat back to Varlamov. Varlamov shot went off Lysak. Varlamov managed to keep it in. Kerwin dumped it to the corner. The only person there was Stewart. He tries to get it out. Can't do so as Nicolat does a good job at keeping it in. Nicolat takes the shot. That went off the stick of Kerwin and goes over the glass, and we will have a face-off. Where are they going to have it? They will have it outside the Pats line.
Well, the Pats doing a pretty good job on this power penalty kill. Trying to keep the Broncos to the outside. Don't let them get that big traffic in front of Ryan Hoople. Give him an opportunity to see that puck. And 44 seconds remaining in this penalty kill. And you mentioned it, Mitchell. This is a big one. If the Broncos were to get up by 2 goals here, it would almost seem to be a bit too much of a task for the Pats to come back, although you'd never want to count them out with the offense they have, but 42 seconds left to kill off in this penalty. Rondo and Lysak fight for it in the corner. Now it comes out to Holden. Here comes Josh Holden. 30 seconds to go in the penalty to Keller. Holden gets to center and just flips it into the Broncos zone to kill some time. Nicolat behind his net being watched by Lysak. Lysak just about took it away from him, just about took it away from Henkelman. Now Reach being watched by Holden. Reach got it up to Allen. Allen wanted to drop it to Rondo, now takes the shot on goal. Hoople gloves that down, looked to pass it off to a teammate. Found there was nobody safe to pass it to and hangs on for a face-off with 8 seconds to go in the minor penalty to Drew Keller as you take a look at Hoops. Well, he's had a pretty good game for the Pats tonight, although he didn't have much action after that midpoint of the second period. Got caught the one time, made the big save on Beagle on the breakaway. A big 6-footer, 180-pounder from Edmonton, Alberta, and he has come in and done a job in the nets for the Regina Pats this year. Schaefer to take the draw against Surjak. Now Surjak's going to leave the circle, and coming in will be, is that Kane? Yes, it is. Drummond with it. Fires it over to the open wing. Jackman along with a couple of Broncos go after it. The one Bronco comes away with it. That's Twardek. Twardek back to Roosevelt. Keller's back on the ice. Now it comes to Twardek. He takes the shot. It was a rather weak one that didn't even get to Hoople as it drifted aimlessly into the corner. Fight for it along the sideboards on the far side. Now Yakishin will get it out and down the ice, and as he does that, it will give his teammates a chance for a change as icing is called. Well, that's right, a little bit of confusion there. You just got the man out of the penalty box. Better to get it down the ice, do a little regrouping here. You got 8 minutes and 32 seconds to go here in the third period. Pats have put 119 goals behind the opposition goalie in the third period. Have yet to get one behind Friesen here, but they've got 8:32. See if they can pot a couple and really put the pressure on here for first place.
Think this place will erupt if a red light goes on behind Terry Friesen in the next 8.5 minutes?
I think it's going to erupt if the Pats don't get something going here pretty soon. I think you're going to hear them start chanting again. It seemed to bring them to life the last time and had a big impact on the Broncos as well. We heard Sergei Varlamov talk about it in the intermission with Pete. That makes it very difficult to play when you got noise like that raining down on you.
Nicolat wanting to move around Lysak. Nicolat wants to cut towards the net. Nicolat trying to get it to somebody, gets it to Kerwin. Kerwin couldn't control the pass, and then Maruka got it to Petrovicki. Petrovicki wasn't ready for it though, as the pass was behind him, and now Reach carries on into the Regina zone. He left it for Hoople, who left it for Kerwin. Now the puck's loose. A little bit of a defensive mix-up there, and the Pats get away with a mistake there. Now it's Maruka. Here's Petrovicki and Lysak 2-on-1. Petrovicki wanted to get to Lysak. Puck rolled up his stick at the most inopportune time for Petro. If he could have gotten the pass to Lysak, Lysak may have found room to get it by Friesen and tie it up.
Well, no kidding. That was a big play and a real opportunity there that time for the Regina Pats, as that 2-on-1 developed out of actually some sloppy play in their own end, but they managed to get the puck out. And
yeah, Hoople with a sloppy play.
Exactly.
Had the puck up over his stick. Kerwin had a great chance to center it there, an open teammate. Would have a yawning cage, and then the defense sort of rather lackadaisical approach to the clearing. And
you can see it just come out here. Develops very quickly. Maruka with the good pass turns into a 2-on-1, and unfortunately for the Pats, couldn't come up with a good scoring shot.
Stewart, hold it, shot, score! No! Is it in?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, I think that's it.
Without question, that puck is in the net.
Oh, Grant, fire the replay machine on that. I thought it was in.
Yeah, that baby is in the corner of the net, no question. We're going to get a look at it here in the replay, but everybody's looking. It looked like, what a thing. There it is. There you can see him fishing it out.
Rewind that.
We'll get a look at that in slow motion. You'll see him fishing it out.
Like Howie Meeker.
That's right. Holy jumping Jesus. Now you can see the shot right here by Holden. Goes off. Friesen skate. Trickles in the net. In behind the post. Goal.
Oh, man.
It's a goal. And it's not going to count. Whoa, is that a big one? Is that a big one? I can't understand how the goal judge did not see that.
Brad Meyer, you've just made a mistake, and so's the goal judge in behind you.
Well, I don't understand the goal judge.
I don't either.
Boy, that's a big break for the pass.
Let's see it again. You're going to see this as clear as day, folks.
Yeah. You see Josh Holden with the puck in the slot there. Takes that good, hard, quick shot. Goes right off the toe of Friesen, and you'll see him spin around now. You see the puck. Puck is trickling over the net, disappears in behind the post. It's clearly all the way over the goal line.
You know, I'll tell you what. I wish we had an overhead camera to just prove it to you.
Well, they
100%.
got it on the big screen there, so they're taking a look at it down there right now.
I just see Brett Parker coming across the box. Rod Peterson and Chad Mercier and Michael Ball from CKRM, they're looking at our monitor feed. They're seeing what we're seeing. So are the fans. Perry Shockey's telling Brad Meyer, come on.
No kidding. Oh,
and here comes Brent Parker down the stairs. He may want to look at this.
We ask you please refrain from throwing debris on the ice. You can seriously injure one of the players.
Get another look at it. You can see it disappear in behind the post. The puck is gone. Friesen spins around, sees it in the net.
Brent Parker's having words with Dennis Pottage now. He's not happy. I don't blame him.
Oh, that's
folks,
big
what you just saw was a goal.
Tell you
if
what,
you're just joining us, if you turned away for a second, the Pats scored to even it up at 3. The goal judge, for some reason, did not turn on the light. Referee Brad Meyer says no goal, and it's still 3-2.
I thought that light did come on, to tell you the truth, and somehow the goal judge got talked out of it by the referee or the linesman or somebody, but that's a terrible, terrible mistake in a big, big game. But I'll tell you what, there's no changing it now. You got to go ahead from here and get another one.
Well, we'll see if that deflates the Pats balloon a little, or if it gets it pumped up a little. And the press box is abuzz as Roosevelt comes across the line, takes a shot, that one off a skate into the corner. Roosevelt in behind the net to Kerwin. Fans urging their boys on.
Reach.
Wants to get it to Beagle. Now the puck's tied up in there. It's Reach to Kerwin. Kerwin has given the Broncos a 3-2 lead. Now Stewart gives it to Reach in the corner. Puck comes to Beagle. Broncos doing a good job of killing some time here as they circle the puck around. Kerwin gets to the line, then dumps it back into the corner. Adams wanted to chip it behind for Stewart. Reach gets to it. Stewart stops him. Stewart really giving it to Reach. Puck still can't get out. And now Adams with it. Adams will flip it to the center ice zone. You know, Paul, it might be time for Perry Shockey to call a timeout and maybe get his troops gathered here a little bit, because they look as if that one may have bothered him a little, as well it should.
Oh yeah, well it should, but I mean those are the things you got to rise above it. We talked about adversity. You're down 2, you're down 1, you get 1, the referee takes it away, go get a couple more.
Petrovitsky with it. To Holden. Josh Holden. 1-on-3. Holden puts it in. Shot. Great play by Holden. Great save by Friesen. Petro. Kane shot. That one went wide. I'm starting to lose my voice here, partner. You may have to finish this one off
you
tonight.
Keep going. We're having fun now, Mitchell. This is what hockey's all about.
You can say that again.
Holden just nailed Hinkleman, too.
Icing is called with 6 minutes to go. Tell you what, if you weren't pumped up before, you are now.
And I'll tell you something else. The Regina Pats and the Swift Current Broncos in a 7-game series would be something to watch. And I'll tell you what, I really believe that the Pats' size would have an effect over the long haul like that. They have been wearing down the Swift Current Broncos here as this game has gone on, and they managed to rebound, I think, emotionally from that setback of having that goal, that clear goal, disallowed. Coming back with some pressure here against the Broncos. 6 minutes to go. It's going to be exciting, Mitchell, and you're going to get to call it.
Wyzak back to Yakishin. Yakishin cuts in. Yakishin takes the shot, tried to go short side. Friesen got the pad on it. Maybe even caught the side of the post.
Well,
Broncos are going to ice it again as Jackman touches it. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, Yakishin had the right idea that time, stepping in from that point looking, but where did he go with the puck?
Short side.
Short side,
Low.
tried to put it low, puts it up top. Friesen is right down on his knees, gaping hole over his shoulders.
Here's that play by
Oh
Holden
yeah,
just
and
a
this is
second
a
ago.
beauty here. You want to know why Josh Holden's going to make millions in the NHL? There's the reason right there. Gets the puck around the defenseman, gets his body around him, makes the big shot. One at the best in the world at what he does. There's that, that opening right at the top.
Yakishin winds up, takes the shot. Maruka scores! No doubt about that one, ladies and gentlemen. David Maruka's tied it at 3. Oh yeah!
David Maruka scores obviously what was one of the biggest goals that he ever got in his career. You'll see that draw. It comes back to Yakishin with a good hard shot. The rebound comes out. Maruka, Johnny on the spot, is able to bang that thing home. Give Brett Lysak some credit on that goal too, as he won that face-off. Paid the price. Got the puck back to Yakishin.
Scored by number 15, David Maruka. Assist number 19, Dmitry Yakushin. And number 11, Brett Lysak. That's Maruka for Yakushin. And Lysak currently over 14 minutes and 21 seconds.
Maruka, his 9th from Yakushin and Lysak at 14:21. We're all tied up at 3. You know, in the States right now, they got the college basketball tournament called March Madness. At the Agrodome, it's Maruka Madness. Petrovitsky to Holden. Back to Petro. Here comes Petrovitsky. He's hit in the face with a stick. They're going to let that go on, and that's not going to make the fans happy. Now Adams, as another player gets nailed with a stick. And what are we going to get here? Are we going to get coincidentals, or are the Pats going to get a 2-minute penalty?
I don't know. We're going to have to wait
to get
to
coincidentals.
sort it out here, but Meyer is absolutely losing his mind out here. Petrovicki takes a slap in the face from one of the defensemen laying on the ice, and then I didn't see what happened after that, but there are going to be coincidentals, but he's got to get himself calmed down here. Obviously, the heat of the moment is catching up to him as well. What a hockey game. This is what you want. This is playoff type action here right now. Pats have shown some remarkable resilience here. Coming back, having a goal disallowed. Parker surveying the scene. There's Russ Parker up in his skybox and striking a very pensive pose as he watches what's going on. His son has been over here to talk to the referee in chief, or the supervisor of officials, Dennis Pottage. So we've had lots of action on the ice and also up here in the press box as well.
You're right, this is playoff type action. And you know what? I love it.
Oh yeah, this is what you pay your money to see, boy. You want to see people going all out, no holds barred, and that's what we've got. Good, exciting hockey, some great goaltending. You'll see Petrovicki here just with a head of steam, some determination. Wham! Comes a slash down on him. And then a stick, boom, up in the face. He got her from both defensemen going through there and still almost managed to split him and get a shot on goal.
Holden is in the box for the Pats as Perry Shockey gives his 2 cents and maybe 3 cents worth to Brad Meyer. Now Todd McClellan wants words with Meyer. They're both trying to figure out just what the HE double hockey sticks he's up to here in the last 10 minutes or so. There's also a Bronco in the penalty box. Can't see his number from here.
Yeah, we'll get that in a minute here when we...
It's Jeff Schaefer.
Is that Jeff Schaefer in the box for the Broncos? 9 goals and 22 assists hardly a fair trade for the Pats with one of their real gunners, Josh Holden, out for the next 2 minutes. 4:38 left to play in that period. Josh Holden with 39 goals coming into the game. Tonight, we've got the score deadlocked here in this third period. Looking a little grim for the Pats at the start of that second period, but they have battled back. Got her tied at 2, went down 3-2, thought they had her tied up 3-3, had the goal disallowed, and then David Maruka got one that countered.
The fans still urging the Pats on. Yakushin cleared it into the Swift Current zone, goes quickly out as Reach and Maruka, the 2:15 collide right at the Swift Current bench. Puck is under Maruka, and Petrovicki pushes Reach away from Maruka after the whistle had blown. Nothing is going to come of that.
2 minutes for high sticking and 2 numbers.
Boy, I tell you what, I can't figure out that Jeremy Reach, 6'1", 190 pounds, but he certainly is playing a lot bigger than that out there tonight.
Number 21, Josh Holden.
Craig, Saskatchewan.
And to number 20, Todd Fedoruk, a 10-minute misconduct.
Todd Fedoruk of the Pats given a 10-minute misconduct, by the way, in that last little scrum down there in the corner about 20 seconds ago.
Yeah, that's a bad one too, because Fedoruk's a big, tough winger you'd like to have out there grinding on those boards for you right now.
Beagle and Lysak get tied up. Fans want a penalty. Then didn't come, and then Yakushin takes a shot, and Friesen steered that aside as you see Todd Fedoruk walking back to the dressing room. His night may be over. If we go into overtime, he'll be back.
See some of the fans taking in the action here, obviously on the edge of their seats.
Nice crowd here in the Dome tonight. Just announced 6,358. And now they're giving away the winner of the 50-50 ticket. And DAMN it all, Paul. Why didn't I buy tickets tonight?
Tell you what, that's going to be a big one.
I'd have left it for you to go down and get my winnings. But I probably bought you one then in the breakaway lounge after. As we see Terry Friesen put his glove on the puck to end yet another chance by the Pats. We're just going to call it the Heartstop Lounge, but it's not that anymore.
Yeah, no, that's right. We take a quick look at the shot clock here. We can see the Regina Pats have upped their total to 36. Broncos with 20, so you can see where most of the play has been, and that man down there between the pipes has come up with some big stops for the Swift Current Broncos. Really held his team in here as the Pats are really starting to take it to the Broncos down the stretch.
Yakushin with the shot. Big save by Friesen. Kane with the shot. Friesen made the save there. Penalty coming up to the Broncos. And oh, what a huge power play this is going to be. Is this sort of a, oh, I screwed up before, I'm going to give the Pats a power play penalty, Paul?
Yeah, you don't like to think it is, but I mean, there's not much of another explanation for it. I think they're going to call Henkelman for having a hold of Boyd Kane's stick down there in front of the Swift Current Bronco net.
Nice save by Friesen as he slid across to stop the drive from Yakushin.
That's right, then that rebound came out, and that's where the penalty was called, because Henkelman, I believe, had a hold of Boyd Kane's stick. He had one hand on his stick trying to see if he could get free and maybe flip it in there. The Pats taking a little extra time over at the bench to give their gunners a chance to breathe. Now here's where you'd like to have Josh Holden on the ice.
Yep.
And unfortunately, he's in the penalty box as a result of that last scrum.
But you will have Kane, Lysak, Surjak, Yakushin, and Stewart out there. It's Stewart with the puck. Stewart has Surjak out front, wanted to get it to him, pass was too high. Then Kerwin tried to get it out, it went off a Yakushin stick and into the crowd, and we will have a face-off. They are going to say it is going to be outside of the Bronco line since it went off a Yakushin stick and over.
Well, Michael Rocheval gets a lot of playing time for the Swift Current Broncos, voted one of the best defensemen, offensive defensemen out there, and obviously feel he does a job defensively as well.
Rocheval has it behind his own net, and he tried to get it out, and all he did was just about took off the head of one of our volunteer camera guys down there.
Yeah, Michael Rocheval had 80 points in that best offensive defenseman, 13 first place votes. Next closest guy was Burke Henry from Brandon, who had 8 first place votes for 63 points. So you can see that Michael Rocheval really a clear-cut winner in that offensive category. Yet here are the Broncos, 3:42 in a gut check situation. They're down a man, and Michael Roosevelt is on the ice for the Broncos.
Surjak, Kane, Pratt, Yakishin, and Stewart on the ice. Comes to Yakishin. Yakishin takes the shot. That one went wide. Stewart pinching in, keeps it in. Brad Stewart in the corner. Stewart behind the net to Kane, back to Stewart. Friesen doesn't really know where it is. Now it comes to Surjak. They score! To borrow a phrase from Rod Peterson, you tell him, Johnny, you tell the world. It's 4-3 Regina.
Johnny, be good. We're going to have to get a look at that one because I'm not sure how that puck got in the net. But we'll all take a look at the monitor here. But it doesn't matter because it's a big goal. The Pats go up 4-3, and that's got to be a real blow to the Broncos. We'll see Brad Stewart with the puck behind the net into Kane. Flips it over to Johnny Surjak. Takes that quick shot, and I don't know whether he banked that in off one of the Bronco defensemen or whether he's able to find a little opening.
He found the hole.
But he got her in there, and we talked about it. The trade for Perry Johnson. The Pats got some offense in return, and it was rewarded handsomely right now.
How about Brad Stewart playing Wayne Gretzky behind the net?
Well, that's right. I guess you got to pull all the stops out when you got that power play. Put more guys down low, create some pressure. Surjak comes up with the big goal of Pats out in front 4-3. What a hockey game. Now you're going to see the Broncos coming on.
Roll all night and party every day. That's what I feel like right now. 4-3 Regina.
Regina Pats goal, his 41st of the season, scored by number 28, John
How about that save by Hoops?
I'll tell you what, you don't want to leave Sergei Varlamov floating around just inside that blue line there like the Pats did on that occasion. This game is not over yet. There's 3:18 to play, and you can see that Ryan Hooppel's got that look of determination in his eyes. He is not going to let that puck get by him.
Maruka dumps it out. The goal. Surjak is 41st from Stewart and Kane at 16:32. That puck dumped in to the stands off the stick of the Bronco defenseman. That was Hulak. And we will have a face-off at the center ice stripe.
Well, there you get a look at that stop again by Ryan Hooppel. Goes down, comes up with the big save, and boy, I'll tell you what, the fans are into this baby now, and they got to get a lot of credit if the Pats hang on for this victory, for igniting a fire under their butts. Really seemed to spur the team on.
Petrovicki dumps it into the Bronco zone. Roosevelt left it for Drummond, and he was popped by Petro. Now Roosevelt will give it to Kerwin. Jeff Kerwin up to Jeremy Reach. Reach has Roosevelt cutting in front. Then a big collection of bodies to the side of Hooppel. And the puck didn't go in front. Now here's Roosevelt in the slot. Roosevelt takes the shot. It's loose for a second as Michael didn't get everything he wanted on it. And it rolled to Hooppel, and Hooppel puts the glove on it for a big face-off with 2.5 minutes to go.
Well, I'll tell you what, the guy that's the most dangerous for the Swift Current Broncos now is going to be their defenseman jumping up into the play, and they're going to take lots of chances like that. This is where you got to have your forwards coming all the way back to make that check. There's no coming back to the blue line and coasting in, because you know those defensemen are going to be going hard to the net. That creates those little 2-on-1s and 3-on-1s.
There's one fan that's not too interested in what's going on.
Well,
he might be the only one that's not interested. Exactly. I'm sure he or she can't be sleeping with the noise in here right now. Henkelman. 2:20 to go. Goals by Maruka and Surjak have turned a 3-2 deficit into a 4-3 lead. And dreams of first place are 2 minutes and 11 seconds away from continuing. Drummond to Rondo. Rondo banks it off the boards, and Stewart has it. Stewart to Kane. Kane wanted to flip it in. Roosevelt knocked it down. Roosevelt then moves around Kane. Roosevelt dipsy-doodling into the zone. Gives it to Varlamov. Varlamov fanned on the first attempt, and then the puck gets steered into the corner. Roosevelt scoops it around the net. Stewart's going to get to it. Kane to Serjak. Serjak dumps it into the Bronco zone. Goes to the bench for a change. Mohagan crunched into the board by Maruka. Petrovitsky following up to Maruka. Maruka comes to the backhand, crashes into Friesen. Lysak takes a whack at it. Whistle blows, opportunity over.
I'll tell you what, is David Maruka come to play or what tonight? We talked about Kyle Calder being out of the lineup, and as a result of that, David Maruka was going to get a lot more playing time, and as he responded, coming up with a huge goal for the Pats. Here he has the big hit on Tony Mohagan. Picks up that puck, goes hard at Friesen, crashes into the net. He's obviously come here tonight prepared to pay the price.
There you get a good look at the 6-foot, 185-pounder out of Winnipeg.
And he's playing like he's about 6'4", 220 right now tonight, because he's handed out some big ones here for the Regina Pats. Just a great effort by David Maruka, but the thing that they'll remember is his tying goal.
Serjak to take the draw against Beagle. If the Broncos get it out, you got to think Terry Friesen will be headed to the bench. Kane to Holden. Holden wanted to center it out front to Kane, couldn't do so. Henkelman intercepted the pass. Adams keeps it in. Henkelman behind his net. Serjak poked it away from him. Now the Broncos are going to get it out as Beagle brings it to center. Friesen looked at the bench and had to go back as Serjak put it back in the zone. Henkelman to reach as Friesen comes to the bench with less than a minute to go. Kane flips it out. Drummond. Now reach. Fires into the Pat zone. Hoople can't control it. Comes to Drummond at the point. Kerwin to Beagle. Beagle cuts in the slot. Looks for an opening. Tries on his knees, take a whack in. It's loose. Kerwin right there. It's still loose. Another shot. Hoople made a save. Off of Roosevelt. Comes to Serjak. Johnny, you got an open net. So do you, boy. It's
but the Regina Pats were equal to the task. Boyd Kane pops the empty netter and seals it for the Regina Pats with 19.9 seconds left after the Broncos came very, very close to tying this hockey game up. Boyd Kane ends it in dramatic fashion on a nifty little pass out of the zone from John Serjak, steps over center and pops her home.
for Boyd Kane, his 47th of the year.
Regina Pats goal, his 47th of the season, scored by number 18,
Maruka.
Kane.
To Yakishin. Yakishin up to Pratt. Pratt, as the clock winds down, listen to the ovation the fans are going to give the home team, and do they deserve it? Check, please. What a victory for the Regina Pats.
Well, we
They
talked
had
about
to
it.
dig down.
Yeah.
They faced some adversity. They got screwed. We're not going to put it any other way on what was a game-tying goal by Holden. They bounced back. Maruka, Serjak, and Kane in the empty netter. And folks, I'll tell you what. You may be looking at the first-place hockey team in the Eastern Division leaving the ice.
Well, that's very possible now. They certainly have things sort of going their way, you might say.
In fact, they are the first-place hockey team, I do believe.
No, they're 2 points behind the Broncos yet.
Yes, they are. That's right.
They got 97.
That's
the Pats
right.
have 95 now.
But
the
they have
Pats
45 wins. That's
the Pats
where.
have 2 games
Yeah.
left, and the Broncos have 1.
And the
So
Pats
the
have 45 wins, and the Broncos have 44. That's
Right.
where I was getting
so
to there.
the thing that they got to do now is take care of business and look after Moose Jaw, but they've got the thing put back in a situation where they control their own destiny. and that's the key thing. But I think the most important thing about this is the way that the Pats came back, battled back from the adversity. You're going to have tough things happen to you. They had a very tough thing happen to them tonight when that third goal was disallowed. They battled through it. That's the mark of a good hockey team out there. The Regina Pats show us that they are going to be a contender here in the playoffs.
So there you see your final, the Pats 5, the Broncos 3, in front of 6,358 fans here tonight at the Dome. The majority of them going home happy as we await the 3 stars from Brian Raymond.
And the Milwaukee Stars defensive player of the game. Tonight's Golden 3 stars were chosen by Mr. Prosper Polaniak of Global Television Sports Line. Tonight's Golden 3rd star from the Swift Broncos, number 31, Terry Friesen. Tonight's Golden 2nd star from the Regina Pats, number 7, Brad Stewart. And tonight's Golden 1st star from the Regina Pats, number 28, John Swerdak. Each and every game, Milwaukee Stars present the defensive player of the game with a 50-meter miss certificate. Tonight's defensive player of the game, number 7, Brad Stewart. Each Pats home game, the Booster Club presents the Booster Club player of the game with a check in the amount of $25.
So there you see your 3 stars for the night. Friesen, along with Stewart, and Serjak, your number 1 star of the evening. Take a look at the third period scoring summary. It was Stewart on the power play from Holden and Yakishin. That came at 5:53, and even the hockey game up at 2. Then Kerwin killed some momentum a little bit here as the fans were really going. Kerwin on the breakaway from Beagle and reach at 6:28. Kerwin capitalizing on the breakaway by Beagle as he popped the rebound home past Hoople. And then at 14:21, after the Pats got jobbed on a goal that was in that didn't count, it was Maruka coming back from Yakishin and Lysak at 14:21. That tied it at 3. And then your winner, Serjak, his 41st from the season, from Stewart and Kane at 16:32. And then Kane into the empty net, his 47th of the year from Serjak at 19:40. And of course, that made your final score 5-3 for Boyd Kane. 47 goals on the season. He chases 50 with 2 games left, and I like his chances of getting 50 personally. How about you, Paul?
Well, that's right. He certainly has played well all year, and I think has really come on down the stretch here, being a leader for the hockey club. We're going to get a look at one of these goals here. You can see that play by
This is the winner.
Yakushin, fires it over to the side there. This is where Brad Stewart takes it down in behind the net, parks in Gretzky's office, dishes it off to John Serjak, comes back to Serjak, and this time just fires it top shelf over Friesen's shoulder into the net. That put the Pats ahead to stay. What a hockey game, what an effort by the Regina Pats. Full marks for their 5-3 win here tonight.
Well, you know what, Paul? When Pete Pasco signed on tonight, he said that we have saved the best for last, as this was our last scheduled broadcast on Cable Regina, Regina Television Channel 7. Hopefully we'll have a playoff game or 2, but it depends how far this team gets and as far as crowds and that go. I think I want to pass along some special thank yous to all our sponsors, AMJ Visuals, Western Pizza, Sask Lotteries, A&J Display. Thank you to them for helping make these broadcasts possible. I'd like to thank the Parker family, Scott Clark, Mike Jenkins, Dean Moyes, and the Pat staff for allowing us the opportunity to come down here and show games on Cable Regina, Channel 7. We greatly appreciate it. To Grant Nemeth down in the truck, first-class job all year long, my friend. It was great. To all the volunteers, same thing, tremendous. To you, Paul, I said it once, I'll say it again. You're the best color man going. You make my job tremendously easier, and I thank you for that. And I thank all of you people out there for watching. We hope you've enjoyed what you've seen this year, and we hope we can bring you some more.
And I just want to add my thanks to you, Mitchell. I'll tell you one thing, there's no questioning your enthusiasm for this hockey game and for this hockey team, and that makes it exciting to do. And we got a great product here on the ice. We got great work by the volunteers and the cameraman, and Mitchell makes it all happen for us.
Pete, take us home, partner.
Thanks, guys, and well, now that we've done all the thank yous, all we have to do is talk about tonight's game. John Surjak, the first star of the game, is here with us. Johnny, the game winner after some deflating moments for you guys. We thought Josh Holden had the tying goal, and then Maruka comes out, bangs that one in, and you pocket the winner. A great comeback.
That's right. Definitely things have been going pretty good for us late. I heard a couple guys talking a couple days ago about the team last year and how they get down a couple goals and they seem to cave in. But I think it's different this year. I think we got a lot of confidence right now, and we just kept battling. We're down 2-0, and things went our way.
Talk about confidence. You guys are now winners of 8 in a row. You're within 2 points of first place. And it's back-to-back with the Moose Jaw Warriors. I guess you're masters of your own destiny now.
That's right. We still got 2 games left. Let's, not say we got first right away here. We had a big rivalry with Moose Jaw all the time, so they're going to play us tough. We just got to come out, strong, and I think if we play our 60 minutes, no question we'll come out on top.
You had a chance for an empty netter in the last minute, but you decided to give it to Boyder, who's closing in on 50. A nice touch. Obviously, you guys want to see him get 50.
That's right. There's a guy in front of me, and I seen him breaking wide. So, if I take the chance and shoot, I might block it or whatever. So, I just fed him wide. He was wide open and going down the left side there, and he putted it in. So.
Okay, great job tonight. Good luck in Moose Jaw.
Thanks a lot.
Final score tonight from the Agrodome. It is the Regina Pats 5, the Swift Current Broncos 3. Pats still with a shot at first place in the East. For Mitchell Blair, Paul Barnby, the entire crew, and everyone involved with Pats hockey, this is Pete Pasco signing off from the Agrodome.
Regina Pats Hockey on Cable Regina has been sponsored by Inland Audio Visual, 1751 McCarra Street. Western Pizza, now with 10 locations serving you. And SAS Lotteries, benefiting amateur sport in the province.